What's good, hookers? I'm a literal nerd, and welcome to Reps in Media, the show where I, your favorite ground type, present to you a group of content creators from a certain demographic, and ask them a series of questions about said demographic's representation in the media. Today's episode is about black and brown representation. Real quick, I do want to mention that this video does contain the topic of suicide. I'll leave a timestamp right here on the screen so you can skip it. With that being said, let's get right into the video.
I'm Bonnie. I go by Bonnie, XOXO Bonnie. I do content creation, and I'm from the U.S., from Michigan.
I'm L'Oreal Harris. I go by MissLoreAuthor. That's how you say the Lore part in there. Lori, MissLoreAuthor. I'm a former substitute teacher and a children's author and illustrator.
My name's Kura. I go by OffbrandKurapika online. I am a cosplayer, and I am from the U.S.
Hello, my name is Ty. I go by TayBastet. I am artist, content creator, and comic creator, and I am from the US.
Hi, my name is Ajala Bandele. I go by Ajala because I couldn't think of anything else at the time. I am a author and beginning TikToker, and I am from Colorado, US.
Hello, my name is Tyshon. I go by TJ online. I am a journalist, aspiring, up and coming. That's what I'm working towards it. I'm getting there, and I'm from New Jersey.
Okay. So now let's start with the first question, which is, what can you say about the current state of black and brown representation in the media? Discuss.
Well, I think it's interesting because we have so much media out there in the world, and it is so curated to whatever your algorithm is that depending, you can have a lot of representation for you or absolutely none at all. That whole algorithm thing is a double-edged sword because it can pigeonhole you into only one type of demographic, or it can be spread out, but it just depends on, the happenstance of which video you happen to see and happen to watch. So like when I'm like on TikTok or Instagram and I'm looking at things, my Instagram believes that I am a postpartum female. So, because I get lots of baby stuff, because I have 2 kids. So I had looked up something for my wife once, and then it just gave me a bunch of stuff. So that's what I get. A lot of kid stuff, postpartum stuff, breastfeeding stuff. So that I don't...
Before you keep going, I was more so referring to the state in which black and brown people are represented in TV shows, in books, and cinema.
If it's okay, could I say something very fast?
Oh, sure, go ahead.
I was going to say that I feel like there's a lot of potential, but not enough actual full-on representation that's acceptable, and I guess something that really qualifies as representation, because there's a lot of black and brown, characters and plot lines that fit in with what we go through, but I feel like a lot of it is, it could be great, but a lot of it is plagued by stereotypes and so many different kind of things that irk audiences, and really it feels like a lot of it is written in poor taste in some way, and obviously nothing can be completely perfect, but it feels like some things are just attempted to be representation and done for the sake of being representation, but they don't go the extra mile to do research or put an extra, I guess to make it realistic in a sense of like, this is who we are, if that makes sense at all.
That makes perfect sense. I feel like a lot of the times, like, black and brown characters are not written by black and brown people, which is why we get a lot of these like stereotypes. It's like, if you're a white woman in your mid-40s and you never really had a lot of black friends and you're writing a story and you're including black people in there and you're just like including like lines and dialogue and scenarios that like you're only familiar with through your consumption of like, your algorithm and social media and like the news, then we get these like very flat, one-dimensional characters that just, it's like they're just kind of there and forgettable. I've also noticed this little trend where like if it's a predominantly white cast, the black character usually interacts with the friend that they came into the group with and no one else. Like even like simple like pleasantries like hello or goodbye or like eye contact, it's kind of like there's a black character assigned to another character. It's
almost as if
right? Yeah, like, and it's a lot better than what it used to be. Like I'm 37, so like I remember when all types of stuff passed on TV, but like it's better than what it used to be, but it could still just be better.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you're right about that.
I would say that it's kind of a mixed bag because in the media you have your stories and depictions on the positive side that show like black excellence. For example, the Jackie Robinson movie. There was a movie about Jesse Owens. There was Hidden Figures, the movie about 3 black women working for NASA. And you have stuff like that, which is really good. Like you show the positive side, black excellence, progression. But at the same time, you also have a lot of depictions of black people that are, you know, kind of disingenuous, very negative, like, you know, typical violent drug dealers, YNs, ghetto, ratchet, you know? So yes, it is better than what it used to be, and I do like that there's more representation than before and there's more depiction of black excellence, but there's still a ways to go. That's why I say it's a mixed bag.
There's also a lot of tokenization, I feel like, where it feels like people are, because of course there's nothing inherently wrong with people who aren't black or brown putting in a character that is supposed to be representation, but it feels as if it's not exactly, you know, fleshed out, put in research for. It's mainly put there for the sole purpose of like, oh, I have representation. Oh, I'm not like, you know, I'm not anti-black or I'm not anti-brown. I have this character in my media that addresses those issues. But it kind of is very two-dimensional compared to their, you know, pale skin characters.
Yeah,
Oh,
They
sure.
need some kind of validation or something.
Yeah, and then they
More of an
live in the
excuse
extremes.
than an actual character.
You know, kind of what you were saying. They live in extremes where it's either like black excellence or like poor ghetto. They don't split the difference and have just kind of your average person.
Yeah, like kind of well-rounded. Like, you know, I know people who
They
like
have
have degrees, but they also like to listen to the city girls and like just like multifaceted people where it's like they're not just this one like type of stereotype.
Yeah.
They're not fleshed out anywhere
And like and
beyond
not having their like their plot point be something like that having to do with them being physically black. Like that would be nice too. Like, oh, my dad doesn't know I'm dating someone black. Like, oh god. So that's their storyline. Like, I don't need that.
And that's all you
Well,
get.
the terrible plot lines are really something because a lot of like stories they make it to where like they can only like the character's plot line say it's a black character. But apparently, the only trait about them is that they're black and that there's like not really much fleshed out about them, and everything that is about their characters say they have an arc to themselves. It has to be about some kind of stereotype regarding them, and that's what they call representation. Is if black people can't also have the same things going on as, you know, white people do.
Right. Miss Lori, do you have any
That's a
thoughts?
little sick.
Go ahead.
That is what I call sick. Not in the good kind of sick, but it's horrible because they just think some people think that blacks are just plain black excellence and or, you know, people who are just stereotypical stuff. They don't really write people as humans, real humans.
Yeah, and so you see that
Very
a lot.
true.
You see that a lot, and it is better than what it was, but it's kind of
Yeah.
sad that it hasn't gotten any better than it is.
But not
And
back to
there's
us.
oh, sorry, go ahead.
Oh, you're good. I was just gonna say, I think it's incredibly obvious in some cases when a black character is written by a black person or a white person. Like, you can tell.
I also wanted to mention that there's some medias that don't say that their character is black just so they don't get any backlash. Some medias that I've been into in the past, they say that their character isn't black or brown. They're just tan, and that they're just a tan white person so they can avoid any responsibility associated with giving proper representation, proper research, proper really anything that brings up like the quote-unquote uncomfortable topic of mentioning any of those things. So they just go with the excuse that their character's tan, which is kind of crazy to me because the character can be like, they can look fully black and it'll just be like, oh, they're just tan.
I've seen that a
And
lot
which
in my
is fans an
Oh, sorry, go
excuse.
ahead.
Oh no, sorry, I was finishing.
Oh, no, my apologies. No, I was just gonna say, I see that a lot in YN books. Like, I see someone describe their character as sun-kissed skin or tan, instead of just actually going with a person of color.
Yeah.
You know, and I
It can
guess
almost
I
be romanticized.
for sure, yeah. I get a little bit of the idea behind making them, I guess, quote unquote, tan and not bringing it up much, especially if the story is not about their ethnicity. But if you're gonna make somebody a different color, and we live in a society in which color kind of defines you, then just making sure that at least you've done the research. You know, like as an author, you build a giant iceberg, but you only show the very top. But all that research that you've done will influence little lines here and there, little bits of dialogue, looks here and there. There was a book that I was reading where somebody mentioned something about the character's hair, and the only line after the mentioning of the hair hair was that she just looked at another black woman, they both kind of sighed, and then they kept going. And so that was a very real moment inside of that book. And so even though it wasn't about race, it had that authenticity in it, and the lack of research for a lot of these characters, and that extends beyond just black, but pretty much any non-Anglo-Saxon culture. It's apparent when they're not doing the research.
Right.
That was a pretty fulfilling discussion. Holy shit, that was like really good answer to the first question. I was done.
Honestly, I can't really say it better than that. Like, you guys really kind of just took the words out of my mouth there.
I was kind of stunned. Anyone have any closing thoughts before we move on to the next question?
It's all going to change because of the writers in this group right here.
Ah, shucks.
We gonna fix the world. We gonna
I
fix
just
y'all.
think a good way to close out on it would be kind of what I would view as like a solution. I really just think that better research and less pressure, because I feel like a lot of people are very pressured to write characters because they feel like they need to backlash and stuff, when you can just write one naturally. Like, if it should naturally come to you. You can write a character that is black that goes through the same experience as everything else, while also, like, giving them, underlying things that are a result from how they are. That there's nothing wrong with that. Just give it a good balance and don't make it unnatural.
Yes.
Yeah, and then you can have a sensitivity reader when before your final draft, somebody who is of that demographic, and say, yo, this is the character that I wrote. What do you see? Is there anything that I'm missing? And if they got something, great. If they don't, great.
Yeah, sensitivity readers
That's
are
a good-
definitely underrated.
I would say change the mindset when you're going into making a character, or don't make it, how do we make this black character? No, it's how do we make this character that happens to be black?
Yeah, I would even dig deep as far as like even specific to the area that it's in, because like black culture is like different, if you know what I mean, like in different areas. So it's like how would a black person, like in Minnesota, like I don't know, you know what I mean? Like there needs to be like, it can't just be like, oh, we have a black person in the office and they can write this black character.
Right.
Like it needs to be specific to like making a character black isn't just about their skin color or a look, but it's also about like their culture, which is very vast from person to person.
Yeah. Lori, I accidentally interrupted you. I apologize. You were going to say something?
All I wanted to say is, this. As a children's author, the majority of almost all my characters are all black and in different shades of it. So I just kind of write them as just regular children because they're preschool aged children. So
Kids are kids.
yeah, people need to really write their characters as just regular people. Race, no matter what color it is, they are,
For sure. Whenever I have those conversations in real life, when somebody like asks me about my hair, like, how do you wash your hair? And I go like, all right, first.
Oh my God, I hate that.
Well, people trying to touch up on your hair, it's so strange.
Yeah, and then
hair touching already.
what I always say to them is I go, all right, first, imagine that I'm a person. Now, with that context, what do you think I do? And then they go, oh, I bet you use shampoo, don't you? It's like, I do, because I'm a person. And do you think you should just be touching my hair? Would you just touch a white person's hair? Would you just go up and touch it? Well, no, they're not a dog. Exactly. They're a person. So treat me like that. Think of me like that. And writers can do that. Think of their characters as people. And if you know what class system they're in, what location that they are from, and where the story takes place, then you've got the person. So if you take somebody who's upper class Michigan black, that will sound way different than lower class Michigan black. And that'll sound different than lower class Philadelphia black. Like, the locations matter, the economic status matters, but you start with them being people. Actual, real life, everyday people.
Right. That dog comparison was fucking wild, I will say.
My wife gave me that one because she asked a white lady that. She's like, would you touch a dog? Like, would you just go up to a dog and like just start petting the dog? And the white lady was like, well, no, because it's not my dog. I would ask the owner. And it's like, okay.
Right.
So you have more respect for the dog than you do for me. That's interesting.
Damn, that's fucking crazy. So I think we've all gotten our thoughts out for this one. So we're comfortable with moving on to the next question?
Sure.
Yes, sir.
So the next question is, what are some common misconceptions you've seen about black and brown people in the media you've consumed?
Common misconceptions.
misconceptions.
I've personally seen a lot of the times either we are seen as kind of like that one best friend character that's, all not really the sense of reason per se, but more of like very kind of out there and more loud, always the outgoing one, always the one who's the sassy one, the one who's always going out of their way to do the most. And there's either that, I see that side of things where it's a lot more common, a lot more stereotypical in the whole, big brash black person stereotype. And then there's the other side that almost seems as if they're trying to oppose it, but in a way that kind of seems like they're trying to oppose it a little too much, you know what I mean? Like they're trying to avoid that
like an
so
situation.
Yeah, like it's very unnatural, like to the point where they're making a complete opposite, where they're making the character like very silent, very, very smart and very everything. That kind of like the stereotype of like nerdy, smart black character. And it kind of feels unnatural in a lot of sense because either way it goes, neither option are like two-dimensional or well fleshed out. They're kind of just like someone said before, like an accessory to whatever main character there is.
I feel like in both cases, it's kind of treated as a throwaway, like as comic relief, honestly.
Yeah.
I was about to say comic relief is what I usually
So
see.
to piggyback off of that, I kind of noticed that like back in the day when you had like the super flamboyant black character, they were like the comic relief and they were kind of like annoying. But then like audience started to see that character as the cool character. And then I noticed a shift where it was like now the white character was more like the outgoing character and the black character is like the nerdy do-gooder that like doesn't have any sauce and it's just like the contrast to the flamboyant white character. So I like seeing those two extremes. Sauceless and flossless.
They're basically trying to oppose that completely.
Yeah, and so it's like now you just like taking so much away from them that they're just like plain M&Ms and no, like we don't need that either.
Turn them into a stereotype regardless.
That all speaks on that lack of. Oh, go ahead.
I'm sorry, what'd you say, John?
I was just gonna say that all speaks upon that lack of research. Like that basic fundamental thing of writing, like know what you're writing about. So when you think you know, because you're basing it off of a single stereotype, then you get these horribly tropish people. But when you actually do the work, then you can balance it out.
Yeah, and hey, my character Tuck, he's 4. He's black and he's the brains out of most of the main kids, but I fleshed him out a little bit. I mean, mostly because I got that from one of my cousins. I kind of modeled him off one of my cousins, and I wasn't trying to go for the stereotypical nerd type. He's more or less, besides my cousin, is somewhat more or less an inspiration from Izzy, because I imagine Izzy's voice in my head.
Sorry, you're saying Izzy from Digimon?
Yeah, Mona Marshall's voice for Izzy is how I imagine Tuck's voice in my head.
It's so cute, I love it.
Most of the Digidestined's voices are how I imagine my characters in my head.
How do you guys feel about the trope of like the one black person in a predominantly white surrounding, like going to an all-white school or a predominantly white workplace?
So I literally was just talking about this. I was literally just talking about this the other day. The issue that I have with it, it's not that it doesn't happen because like I'm from Michigan. I've seen the one black girl in the clique of white girls and white guys and whatever. I know that it happens. The only thing that irritates me about it is when that one black friend is so like stereotypically black, when in reality, typically, like if it's a black person who's the only black person in a group of friends, they don't act like that. They usually like adapt to their surroundings and act more like the group of people that they're around.
Yeah.
Versus like, you know what I mean? Like they're like super ghetto, but they just happen to be like in a group of all white friends. That's what I don't like about it. Like, if you're gonna make them the black person in the group, then let them be like how black people that are around all white people act.
I feel like that a lot of the times, it makes it feel as if they're trying to write the black character almost as if they're alien, like completely going to a new planet. They don't know anything. They're completely savages for some reason. And like for instance, if
like dang, y'all got bus passes? I ain't never had that before. Like, oh my God.
And like for instance, if there's a fine establishment or whatever, and all the white characters are eating with a knife and fork, they'll have the black character like eat with their hands or something.
With the hand,
or like eat all
Bro.
Yeah, and it's like
and then they
weird.
try to
It's
be like
not
that
like
white savior type of thing where they're like, oh, well, you know what? Since Jameer is eating with his hands, let's all eat with our hands.
yeah, and then either that or they try to
Yeah.
help him, and it's kind of just I don't even know how it would end up because it usually doesn't end up in a way that's like, oh well, that's we have our differences, we have our backgrounds. It's more of just like, okay, they're just trying to whitewash and completely erase whatever background this black character had, and kind of it's more showing the development of how he gets more or how they get more like white quote unquote qualities rather than retaining their blackness. And it's kind of like
Yeah, that's annoying. It's like they're trying to colonize the guy, like
Yeah.
make him one of them.
It's like
Yeah.
they're really trying to make them like
Treating them
like
like
us when
animals.
really they should just be treated as like their own separate character and human being just like everyone else.
They're treating them like animals, let alone aliens that shouldn't belong on Earth at all. That's what sure sounds like to me.
The other
Yeah, and-
stereotype is when like everyone's looking at the Jameer character, like thinking he's not gonna know which fork to use, and he knows it, and he's like, "Oh yeah, like what you guys thought I wouldn't know this because I'm black." Like my mom sent me to prep school when I was in the 3rd grade. It's just like, oh my god, I don't need the explanation as to why you do or don't know things. I just want you to just be a person. Like if you're gonna be different and you're just different, be different. If you're one and the same, like I don't need these little reminders. Like, oh yeah, like even though Jameer's black, he also knows which fork is the salad fork. Like, please spare us.
This makes me think of have y'all seen
Whatever happened to writing people like people?
Amen.
have y'all ever seen the movie Finding Forrester?
No,
Um,
never heard of
All right, so Finding Forrester was like the last real good Sean Connery film, and it had this actor Rob Brown. And he's a phenomenal basketball player, black dude from the hood, but he's also exceptionally brilliant. And so he gets poached by this prep school, and they want him to play basketball, but he's an exceptional writer. And you get to watch this guy go to this school, and there's very, very few black people there. And none of them are into sports. They're all into academics. And he's there for the sports, but he also just happens to really love reading. And so he's a really good writer. And they do a really good job of making him an actual person. And so when he's interacting with all these white people, they don't know quite how to like deal with him or handle him. And he's just authentically himself. And he's not like super loud or ghetto. He's not boisterous or anything. He was quiet at his other school, so he's quiet at this school. He loves to play basketball, so that's what he does. But he loves to read and write, so that's what he does. So it's a really good dynamic example of a character being themselves in a situation in which they are the only or the other. But he's written as a person first.
Well, now I'm interested in the movie.
Yeah, same.
And it's got it might be. It's got Sean Connery, Rob Brown, and what's his face? Busta Rhymes plays his brother.
Haven't heard from him in a long time.
Yeah, and he's
it's underrated when a rapper plays a main character.
yeah,
I
and,
know.
and he's real good. He's real good. Like the whole movie is real good. And then Anna Paquin's in it.
What's the Reptar wagon?
Wait, what?
I haven't heard about him since he voiced the Reptar wagon.
The what wagon?
He was in the Rugrats movie as the Reptar wagon. They're Godzilla square car.
I had no idea about that. Wait, really? He was Reptar?
Yes.
The Reptar wagon?
Yes.
I will never see that movie the same way again.
I don't know that.
I'm not gonna lie to you. Like, that remind me of a lot of my family members back then, and I visited them a lot. They were always getting on to me about like assuming that I play basketball just because I'm black and tall, and they've literally told me that.
That's most stereotypical black trait in the book. Black people can have more than one interest, man. Basketball ain't the only thing about us. Come on.
Hey, bro, you hoop?
I wish I was like, I wish I was smart enough to just tell them off like that. But I was like pretty young back then, though.
Felt.
Yeah, I have dreadlocks, so everybody always assumed that I was high or getting ready to get high, and I was like, no, I don't even really drink, so I don't. And they're like, really? Whoa, but you have dreadlocks, and it's like,
Oh my
you grow
goodness.
dreadlocks. We've done grow out your hair. Like, it's not like you get a taste of something if you get a fro. Like, that's not how it works.
That kind of, oh my goodness,
Exactly.
that is so insane.
That's always a
Speaking
thing that's irked me. Oh, sorry, Peach.
Go ahead.
I was gonna say that's always been a thing that irked me, is like having a certain style or certain like, you know, what you're wearing or whatever. People always assume that you're doing this or that based on what you're like, what your hairstyle is or what you're wearing or all that kind of stuff.
That actually happened to me at a con before. Surprisingly enough, like I actually got profiled at a con by one of the police officers that came there. Yeah, it's a whole crazy thing.
God.
But they basically assumed that since I was black, I knew everything about drugs because something essentially happened really bad with my friend.
Bro.
And the cops had to come and like the hospital, like the ambulance and whatever. And the cop, like, because I was with my friend, and the cop was suddenly asking me questions, getting upset with me, getting mad, and basically saying stuff like, oh, you know, if you, basically implying that I was lying, like, oh, you know, if you lie, you'll get in serious trouble with someone's life. And I was like, I know, I'm telling the truth. And I was not questioned because we were there with like some white friends also. And then I talked to some friends afterwards and they were like, that cop totally profiled you. And I was like, wait a minute, you're right.
Oh my goodness.
That's crazy.
It's insane,
Speaking of hair, when it comes to black characters in media, if I see the damn Killmonger dreads one more time on a character, I'm gonna lose it.
It's always either
Jesus
Killmonger
Christ.
dreads or white hair.
The Killmonger dreads.
I am so sick of that hair.
You know-
Have you seen Spider-Man 2, the game? They literally gave Miles the Killmonger dreads.
Even though he's never had
Oh,
that
they
in comics.
did?
Yes, they did.
Damn.
You know, it's
They
like
also gave him the worst suit at
when
the
they
end.
see something out there in the media, they go, "Oh, that's what we will now put for all black people." So if it's Killmonger dreads, then that's what we're gonna do until maybe a fro comes back, and then they'll be like, "All black people gotta have fros, all of them."
It's either
Hey!
fro,
Whatever
God.
happened to the
dreads,
variety,
or
man?
cornrows. What'd you say, Miss Lori? I'm sorry.
I was saying that it's crazy how they give black people just one style. I mean one style. Whether the dreads or the braids or at least the fro or a short or a flat or a goddamn flat top. I mean, come on. Every black person.
It does a huge disservice to our culture too, because we're one of the most. I mean, black, brown people, vibrant. We're vibrant. It's nothing else. Rhythm, color, movement. Even if you got dreads, what are your dreads doing? My dreads right now are curly because I had them braided up for a couple of weeks so that they would have these nice little curls in them. But then, is it in a high ponytail? Is it in a low back? Am I putting beads in it? Like there's
a half up,
always,
half down.
there's always more to what we're doing, always. And you can see when there's, again, no research done, when they're just like, Killmonger dreads or nothing.
Literally.
Hey.
Oh, you know what I hate
Cornrows?
with a passion? No. What I hate with the passion is when, oh shit, I just lost it. Damn it.
I'm
No,
sorry.
okay, I got it back. Okay. No, you're fine. I hate when a character's hair is written to be real when we, the black audience, know that it is not. I don't care what style is shown, unless there's a reason specifically, like the character is playing Rapunzel or there's like something specific in the script where we're supposed to like accept like that this is the character's real hair, like on some like Game of Thrones type shit. Unless it's that, if it's like a modern day black woman, like I used to watch Scandal and Olivia Pope, you know, she wears a straight wrap type of style. Now as a black woman, I know that this is some type of extension. I don't need to believe that this is her real hair. When she gets kidnapped, the first couple days she has in these extensions, and then like after a week of her kidnapping, they show her with like her real hair, and it's supposed to show that like she sweated out her hair. And then when she gets rescued, they're like, here's some stuff to fix yourself back up, and she's back to her extensions. And I'm just like, why did they do this like this? Like we're okay knowing that our characters like get extensions or get their hair braided or get their hair redone. Like it's okay to let that be known to the audience versus just like Oh, Keisha changed her hair up. Like, come on. Keisha went to the damn salon. Like, don't play in my
What if
face like
Keisha
this.
knew how to sew in weaves and she just did that by herself?
Or if they keep the characters' hair the same the whole season, like Vampire Diaries, they used to have Bonnie Bennett looking crazy.
Oh my
That's
god, I
so
love
hard.
her.
Straight
I love
up
Bonnie.
I feel so bad for the
crazy. Like,
actress. She endured a lot of shit in that show.
she really did. Like, justice for Cat Graham, because,
And you know they're capable of showing off different hairstyles because with our pale skin compatriots, they also have the different styles. Like you have the regular, business cut. You have like the long hair rock style. You have mohawks, mullets, like all sorts of stuff, or bald, whatever. It's like and
it is varying
I
degrees
used to
of
have a
bald.
mohawk when I was young.
Have, like, the Jean-Luc Picard type of like bald on the top, but not on the sides.
you
The
can do,
comb
like,
over.
Jordan bald. You can have like the Vegeta hairline. There's all sorts of
Oh my
different
God.
stuff going on. You know?
The McDonald's ad.
But again,
The
it's
McDonald's.
like, thinking of us as people, that is always hard. So like, what misconceptions are there about Black and brown people? All of them. They're everywhere.
Real,
Yeah,
honestly, yeah, real. What misconceptions? Yes.
Misconceptions.
Yes, correct. Answer is affirmative. Yeah.
I love this. All right. Anyone else have anything to add before we move on to the next one?
Yeah, because, hey, as an artist, I've learned that there's like all kinds of hairstyles, no matter what color you wear. For those who want to learn about, who want to have a little research, besides like the real stuff, there's a book by my favorite author, Yesenia Moises. She wrote a book about different hairstyles that Black people can wear, especially since she's like Afro-Latina.
Love that.
Yeah, she talked about hairstyles of all kinds.
Definitely gonna put
hey,
in the description to that.
Yeah, all of them and she's a reminder. As long as you're happy with who you are, the way you wear your hair, it doesn't matter to anybody else.
Mm-hmm.
Period.
Love that. Alright, then we're gonna move on to the next question, which is, did you ever see any Black or brown characters in the shows you watched growing up?
Yes.
Oh,
Yes, I did.
Of course.
Anyone remember Billy and Mandy?
Irwin.
Remember
Irwin?
Irwin?
Oh, Christ.
He comes to mind. Random comes to
That's
mind.
what I was thinking too.
I immediately think of Proud Family, That's So Raven.
Yeah.
Oh my god, I remember that
Smart
story.
guy.
I think of
That's what Raven was.
Number 5.
Number 5.
Mm-hmm.
Number 5 is the best character
Yes.
on that team. Like,
Love
I don't
number
care.
5.
Oh, I remember
Nice.
Talia from Lolly Rock.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but she's a comedian.
Cyborg
I-
from Teen Titans.
Yes.
Oh
I used to
don't
love
forget-
Static Shock.
Don't forget about
Oh,
Virgil.
yeah.
Yes.
Static Shock was my guy.
Go
Yeah,
to
Oh
Shock.
yeah, I love that guy more. Even more now than I did as a kid. Though I admit, when I was 12, I had a serious crush on Richie when I was 12, just a little bit.
Aww.
Need a Static Shock movie, man.
Yeah.
I
I was
also
hoping-
remember seeing
Honestly,
Max
would-
from Miraculous.
That would have been
He was a
great.
character I also noticed. There's quite a few characters in Miraculous that I also noticed because
Wait,
I
you said-
remember that they have quite a few characters. Sorry.
oh my god, I watched Miraculous. I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah,
my
I spent
Oh,
some childhood
There's
watching-
also Alia, though I guess she kind of fit under the sassy best friend stereotype a little
She
bit.
is
though.
kind of
Wait, hold
that.
on. Ty, I'm gonna stop you
Yeah.
right there real quick. Bonnie, you were saying?
Oh no, you're good. I was gonna say my earliest Black characters were Franklin from Charlie Brown. I want to say he was like the first Black character in the Peanuts. Like,
He is. Yeah.
there's some other layer of history on that I should know, but that I don't. But it was
Well,
Franklin from Charlie
put
Brown.
him in for representation because it was during the civil rights, and they wanted to have more representation, so they threw Franklin in.
Yeah, and then so I used to watch Tom and Jerry, and there was a maid on Tom and Jerry, and I just remember like.
Oh,
That's
I know
the
what
early,
you're
like,
talking
the,
about.
her, and the crazy thing is, her name was actually Mammy Two Time, and she would yell at Tom. Oh, she definitely was. She would yell at Tom about making sure the house didn't get dirty. And like when I got older and realized, like, oh my God, like Jerry was probably costing her job because she was keeping the house clean, and Tom was messing it up, chasing after Jerry, and it just changed the whole meaning of the cartoon for me. In the episodes that she was in.
What'd you do to
She,
this
yeah,
house?
she like, this house is dirty, you're gonna be out. OWT out. And yeah.
Wow.
Oh, WTL. That's crazy. That is bananas.
I used to watch
Miss
a lot of.
Pelham.
I used to watch a lot of
Wait,
Fresh
Miss
Girls.
Girls. What?
Yeah.
What?
I didn't know that.
Yes. That I never would have guessed.
I just see orange hair, and I'm like, okay, that's just a white
she
ginger.
could, yeah, she could be like light skin with red hair because I have light skinned people with red hair in my family. So, but we don't know because we haven't seen her face.
And I'm pretty sure she's black.
No, because we've never seen Wizard Kelly's face from Proud Family. We know he's black.
Yes, we never see his face. I don't know what it is about famous characters.
That was a thing back then. I don't know why, but it was a thing. Like, it had you, like, trying to peek up from under the screen. To see if you can get to see their face. I know I did that a lot.
She does have big curly red hair. We know that.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my, I guess that would explain her hairstyle.
Like you said, she could be light-skinned with, red hair.
What about
Possibly.
black characters in anime? Because the
Yoruichi
main one I think about
Shihouin
is
from Bleach. Peak character, I will say. Peak wife material, okay? I will say that much.
oh goodness! All right, keep it in your pants.
What about the Naruto characters, the Cloud Ninjas?
Yes.
What about them?
Okay, I will say that the Cloud Ninja were actually added to Naruto. Kishimoto made them black because he saw that he had a huge black audience in America. So as a
So
love
let's
letter
make
to
our
them,
black
he made them
characters
black.
nothing like them.
I mean, listen,
Ow.
it was very common back in the day. If you were a Japanese writer or whatever, if you were gonna have a black character, they had to have red hair.
Let's make them blonde, give them braids, and SoundCloud rappers. Yeah, that's the play.
Not Killer Bee.
Oh no!
I remember in the Sailor Moon manga, Sailor Pluto was drawn with dark skin, but it wasn't like it wasn't. Yeah, it wasn't. They weren't saying that she was black. Like the creator was just like, I just wanted her skin to be dark with no explanation as to like why she's dark. And then the cartoon, like her skin is darker than everyone else, but it's not depicted the way it is in the manga.
I was gonna say that some characters that I kind of were exposed to pretty early on in like black characters regarding like anime series. I remember Aoi Asahina from Danganronpa. She will always be black in my heart because some people, well, I guess the media tries to pass it on as like, oh, she's just tan. No, she's black.
I feel that. There's a huge level of misconception there because I've seen people argue that, oh no, they're Okinawan because like people from the south of Japan have darker skin. But like, what's wrong with fans of interpreting them as black either? Like, what the fuck?
Yeah, especially if like in the series we do see multiple family members of hers. Like we see her brother in one of the other games. He is also the same complexion. So if she was just tan, then I don't think they'd be like,
They all go tanning once every Saturday.
Yeah.
I always thought Mihoshi from Tenchi Muyo was black. She was black in my heart. Her and Patty Mayonnaise.
On that topic, though, I also wanted to mention, like, because we know, like, there are some characters, like, that are, black in media, like, anime and stuff. But people also like to headcanon certain characters as black or Blasian, and I think that's really awesome.
Yeah, I see a lot with the Sonic cast.
Yeah.
Knuckles.
Is Knuckles black?
I think we can all agree that Skeeter from Doug is black. Like, Skeeter and BB were black. I don't care what anybody says. And Patty.
Yes, so.
Like, Patty, Skeeter, and Doug are black.
One thing that you're kind of talking about, one thing that you're kind of touching on is we have such pride for these characters that could or could not be, but we are kind of either starved or just desperate for that recognition. So we look at a character and we go, you know what? I'll adopt you. You're one of us now. And now I will die for you.
Yeah, the claiming. I've seen a lot of people claim Bokaru as black. And I was like, you know what? Fuck it. Yeah. His voice actor's black. Why not?
I was gonna say, going back on the anime thing, does anyone watch Soul Eater?
Yes.
There's this
I haven't
character.
yet. I need to.
Is that his name? I forgot his name,
the guy
but there's
with the
this
dreads
character,
with,
the gauntlets.
Yeah.
Yeah, I always liked him. I always wish we could have seen more of him because I liked
he
his
has more scenes in
design.
the manga.
Yeah, the manga's I'm always told that the manga's like so different from the anime. It's crazy.
It is. That's why it needs to be remade.
She's
Okay, we need a remake or a sequel series of Soul Eater.
There's also this other interesting character. Has anyone seen it, Adventure Time?
Yes.
I've heard a lot about it.
There's this character named Marceline, and
Yeah.
she had a lot of like clues and a lot of people headcanoning her at first of being like black. And it's kind of funny because her skin is like pale white because she's a vampire, right? And then later in the what was it called? The Islands. Was it Islands? Was it No, it was the Stakes special. In the Stakes special, we get to learn more about her backstory. and learn more about her past and everything, and we get to meet her mother, and her mother is a woman of color, and so that was very interesting. And then in the Fiona and Cake series, where everyone is like a gender bent alternate version of each other, Marshaline's gender bent version, his name is Marshall Lee, and he's black, so that's kind of like a victory there for the headcanon people who like always headcanon her as a black representation in Adventure Time.
Gee.
Love that. Anything else to add before we move on to the next question?
Nope.
Alright. We already touched upon this topic a little bit, but nothing wrong with delving into it. So what storylines do you feel are overrepresented within these types of characters?
I gotta think about that.
Overrepresented.
Like being poor or struggling with money.
Being
I
poor
feel
and
like-
family drama. I'd say.
Damn.
Yeah, I feel like when we got the Princess and the Frog, I felt so immediately like taken out of my like whimsical Disney experience, because it's like, oh, like this character doesn't really care about being a princess or love or anything. Like she just wants some money to like start her business. Like, thank you for reminding me that my broke ass barely scrounged the money together to come see this movie, and now my princess is also poor, and she just needs a loan. Like I just don't. I just don't want that all the time.
In my eyes, I think something that is kind of like really overdone is, you know, the common trope of, for instance, like the little black boy whose father isn't in his life. He's lashing out at school, and his white teachers are the only ones to help him. And
Problem child.
yeah, the problem child. Yeah,
Or
white
something
savior
like
story. And then
I'd
he
say.
always goes, "You don't know what it's like. You don't know what it's like growing up in the hood with no father, or, you know, with a very poor mother." And that's kind of like, of course that happens to some people, but that's also kind of really overdone. Like it turned into a really big stereotype since then.
Bro set up for 50
Mhm.
Crenshaw.
God.
It's sad because it's a very real thing, but it was kind of turned into this, and it's like
The whole white savior thing, and you kind of already know where it goes, because it's like they always need someone to help them, rather than it being like, you know, a come up story, you know, something of like, oh, how that, you know, character became something bigger than they could have imagined. It instead turned of them needing someone and always needing the white savior for them to rely on, which is kind of like, okay, that's
Like if
I don't
I could
like
just
that.
get through to Jamal, I know I could show him a better way. Like, oh, I bet you could.
Thank
Yeah.
you, Silverbook. Thank you
And I
for
saw a
saving me.
TikTok. Oh, sorry, was someone else talking?
Go for it.
Oh, I was actually I saw a TikTok not too long ago kind of talking about those tropes. And I think there was a movie based on this. I don't remember what it was called, but it was like, oh, like they go, like the white teacher goes to like the mother's house, and apparently the mother has like 12 kids, and she's always rude to the white teacher, and she's always like, you don't know what it's like, and the white teacher's being all nice and saviory.
God. Yeah.
They even do it in the movie without the white teacher. They did it in Sister Act. It's like, Rita, what have I told you about singing? Singing has
Yes,
never paid the
that.
bills. Like, damn, like, why is this the
Like school never pays the bills, and like the mother
singing
always
does
has to
not
be
put
so.
food on the table, and I don't want Rita singing in that choir, even though it's mandatory she participates in choir class. Like,
Never thought of that.
Yeah,
Makes
and the
sense.
mom's always so discouraging. Like, yeah, like you want your kid to be successful, and like, you know, but like I feel like it gets to a point where it's unnecessary. They're trying to add a very clear antagonist when I feel like you shouldn't make an antagonist out of a struggling woman.
No.
Right.
combined with the other trope,
Situation
like, your
is-
daddy used to sing and look where it got him. Like, oh
He's
man.
dead.
Papa was a Rolling
God.
Stone.
You know what else is overdone? The woman who's with a man who treats her horribly, probably beats her, cheats on her, or whatever, and then here comes the light-skinned black man who's all well done,
Not the
wears the
Makilo
quarter
movies.
zip.
Oh
He's
my
got the
gosh.
he's got the
Oh, you
quarter
mean-
zip. You know,
You mean any
he's,
Tyler Perry movie?
Literally.
Yes, exactly. Overdone. Exactly that. And then
Sorry.
Medea beats him over the head with a frying pan or something at the end. I don't remember.
Red ball.
You know, I'm gonna recommend that Finding Forrester movie to you guys again, just one more time, just because it isn't a rags to riches. It isn't about him from the hood to being suddenly super rich and famous. He's just playing basketball and he's just trying to get good grades and just trying to meet people. I highly recommend y'all, because it has a little bit of that stereotype of his father's not there. They don't harp on it, and he's got his brother, and his brother is a father figure, and the mom, she's a working lady, and she's real nice. She's real sweet, and it breaks the norms, even while letting you know that there are certain realities to life.
Right.
And that's the balance. That's the balance that they do really well in it.
Ty, Miss Lore, you two are looking a little quiet there. You got anything to add?
Don't really have much to say other than echoing what you guys are saying, and but you guys were right. Though Tyler does overdo it a little bit. I think he overdoes it because some people tend to miss the point.
Well, he started off in plays, and so when he was writing, when he was writing all of that stuff, it was so that you could go to his play and you knew what you were about to see, because you knew you needed to have that crazy crackhead in mama, and you needed to have that wild auntie. You needed all those things so that you could sit there and go, I know that character. I know this character. It's a very popular thing that you can playing on the tropes. Yeah, and then when he translated that to movies, I don't think he realized the impact that it would have.
Yeah, Medea always speaks the truth. She's a troublemaker, but she and a real jailbird. But I can't fathom that Cora's her mom, her daughter. But point being, she tells the because I think it's her craziness is just out of letting her family in the stitch by experience. She's got experience in the matter.
All I will say is that the Tyler Perry episode from the Boondocks definitely aged well.
I know there's some
goodness, show.
Yeah, I was
speaking on Boondocks, I had a white friend who introduced it to me, and he went, "Hey, I just want to know, what am I watching, and how accurate is it to Black culture?" And I was like, "What?" Yeah.
Honestly, what am I watching is a valid question though with the Boondocks.
Yeah. And so then I sat there and I was like, "Oh, okay. So each of these characters is representing a stereotype of Black culture. So this is the revolutionary, the Uncle Ruckus, he's your Uncle Tom kind of guy, and then you got your hood character, you got all these different characters. And so they represent what that is, and now they have to interact with each other. So there you go. But it was an interesting educational moment for my friend.
Ty, any thoughts?
Honestly, like she said, everything that I was thinking of was kind of already said, so I don't really have any other
I have one more to add.
storyline or for representations that come to mind. But yeah.
I have one overrepresentation that I just want to throw out there. Strong Black woman.
Yep.
One that doesn't need no man.
Doesn't need no man.
Not even no man. She doesn't need anybody. She barely needs oxygen. She barely needs
to the
water.
point where it's
I don't need nobody.
She needs nothing. She's just fine. I just finished watching the show Found that just got transferred to Netflix, and I love the show and the characters. They did a better job with making her a little more vulnerable. But it's just the woman who she always has it together. And her nails are always done. And her edges are always laid, and she just it doesn't matter that a boulder just fell in her grandma's retirement home. She's at the office the next day because she took other people first. My God, damn!
She kicked the boulder away from the grandma's home.
Right, she punches the boulder into pieces with her bare hands. She's just
yeah.
With kung fu skills, yeah.
Yeah, but that strong Black archetype just does a disservice, and it's everywhere. And they make them heartless and cold and just mean.
Yeah, sometimes they tiptoe along the line of strong and stubborn.
Ruthless.
Yeah.
Make them ruthless.
Those two traits are very much conflated in general, but yeah.
I've been guilty of mostly the stubborn part, but yeah.
We can all be a little stubborn.
Yeah.
I'm a Taurus, so that's literally on brand for me,
You earth
But
sign.
it's also if my car breaks down and there's a professional mechanic who's willing to change it for free.
I don't need no help. I'm a strong Black woman, and ain't nobody ever loved me before. And why you being nice to me?
Literally.
And then she walks home.
I'll change my own
Carrying
damn
her car
power.
with one hand.
Oh my God.
Ma'am, I'm just trying to help you. Get away from me, just like that man that mama brought home when I was 11. Oh my God, I didn't need this trauma
And then
trip.
all the trauma comes out.
Oh my God.
Sounds like a great skit, though. I really like this skit.
The only way to console her is to like rock back and forth and hum an old Negro spiritual hymn.
Oh my goodness! Oh my goodness!
Come on, to do these types of skits on your TikTok. I need this. I need this in my life.
Look, they're coming.
Have her go fix a satellite by herself because she needs better reception.
Oh my god.
Well,
Yeah,
she jumped on the roof in a single bound. Are you kidding me? Like, she's already up there.
Man, it's too dark out at night. I'm gonna grab the moon and move it closer.
Despicable Me. What?
But like after I make my brontosaurus burger from scratch,
Yep. Bring
I'll
the
start a
dinosaurs.
fire and heat up the neighborhood. Like, okay.
I think I'll go scan
Yeah,
a
I don't
dinosaur real quick.
I haven't slept in 38 days. Ain't about to start now.
Oh my lord!
Y'all killing me. Y'all are killing me.
Oh wait,
Like,
to go
all
back
my
to the
life I
question-
never slept.
All my life I
You
had
nappy.
to fight. Nah, you know what else is overdone in movies? The black character in horror films getting
Dying.
killed
Oh my
first.
god.
Yeah.
So I made a whole movie based
Now-
on it, actually.
Yeah, I would like to normalize the black character disappearing 15 minutes into the movie because they went the fuck somewhere else. Like, that's their shit.
all of
Like,
that.
I thought your friends were being chased like they are, girl, and that's why I'm down here in the South at Pookie's house, surrounded by Rottweilers and fucking crackheads. Because
That's
no
the
one's
thing.
about to.
And
That's
I
when I
always
tap
have
into
the-
my stereotypes. Because no one's gonna come to stab
Character-
me over here. You've lost your mind.
Kura, I'm
Oh
sorry, you
my
were
god.
saying?
I was gonna say that they always have the character kind of like act kind of like stupid, like kind of unexpectedly like in horror movies, like screw that, I'm gonna go my own way, and then they're gonna get killed. And then, you know, it's kind of like they're having that character be naive on purpose so they can make a mockery out of it. And I'm just like, oh my gosh, like, you know, you were gonna die.
Yeah, did anyone see the
fair.
Primate movie?
Sorry, go ahead.
Did anyone see the Primate movie?
Ah, hell no.
I have not, but I have that movie.
Yeah, the
has
way
things
like
about it.
the way the black character, it's just like, we don't do stuff like that. We don't do that.
I
Yeah.
really don't.
Like, we would never be in this house to begin with because we just don't do shit. Like, we just don't do shit like that.
To be
Period.
fair,
My mama
if
raised me
you did
better.
if you did put black people in a horror film, it would be like a 10-minute movie. So I guess
They
you
just
gotta
leave.
take some liberties.
We need black horror short
It's not-
stories.
Besides,
like
we're
the
black,
dog
we're
talk.
fast. We can run away
Next
fast.
scene, the doll is being burned. The end.
That's just being on Twitter for a day.
Ours is
Moved
being on
into a
Twitter
new
for
house,
week.
heard a weird noise, and move out.
Oh my
It's
god.
that's Spider's house now.
About 10 years ago, I was in LA and I had this same conversation with some of my friends, and I wrote and directed a movie called OMG, We're in a Horror Movie. And it is exactly what you guys are talking about. So if you guys like indie horror film, it's not even horror film, it's a comedy, but it's an indie horror comedy where the black folks are like, nope, not doing it, not doing it.
Exactly.
I want a movie where like the ghost gets their ass beat. Because I've been saying this since I was a kid. Like, I will beat a ghost ass. I wish the fuck you would start throwing shit up in here. If you can throw shit, you can go clock in and pay
Nah,
some
you-
bills.
You remember that-
Here.
You remember that one Jason movie where the boxer tries to fight Jason and like he's just got it standing there? I would have loved it. He just knocked him out.
Like, we will jump somebody. Ain't no 50 people running from somebody with a cloth mask on.
Right.
To jump
You got-
him.
You got one
He has
knife.
a knife.
One knife versus
What?
30 hands. Hell no.
Like, I have them tucked in my purse.
Oh my
Let's
god.
go.
Jesus Christ.
I love this
anyone see
idea,
the
though. I love this idea where you have a horror movie starting off, let's say it's like ghosts, and so you do it from the ghost perspective, and the ghost sees like some black people moving in, and it's like, oh, we're gonna mess with them, but then the black people are like, nah, we're coming for you, and so then it's about how the ghosts are trying to survive the black people.
Right, because we done bust out our damn hoodoo ancestry and shit.
That's right, and we're calling our friends and family, and we're like, we need exorcism. We need everything. Bring the holy water. Bring the church.
Look, as they're lighting their candles, I'm like calling the corners. I need Knuck If Your Buck to be playing. Like, y'all, we about to beat this ghost.
Yeah, and then the ghost is hiding in every different room.
It's about to be like Home Alone, but instead of house invaders, it's ghosts getting bullied.
Yeah, it's like, I just wanted to miss a few people. I'm so sorry.
They're straight up underestimating.
Yes.
Yeah, no.
No,
Black
the
characters in
last,
horror
the last,
movies.
the last trope that I could do without is the competition, like the competition movie. Like, oh, and if I win this basketball tournament, I'll have the
Oh my
money to like
goodness.
So
Move
to go
out
to
of
buy
here.
this.
college.
I'll have
Yeah,
the
like
money
you're
to
not
get
getting
to college
fed.
for
It's
all of
like
my 12
I have the money
siblings.
for the
Oh my
thing that I
God.
need, and it's always like not a large amount of money. Like I just come on.
12 siblings.
That's
Yeah,
crazy.
because another overdone
$12
trope is like
competition.
they always have like
Oh,
the
really?
black families, like they always have like 20 children for some reason. Like there's always like they got, like 30 siblings.
Not everybody's Nick Cannon.
Oh my God.
Overwhelming to the max is what it is.
Mm-mm.
I love this shit, but we've been 20 minutes here, so I gotta move on to the next question.
Oh, goodness.
Which is, when you see a black character in the media, do you feel it's an accurate representation of who
Very
you are,
rarely.
or
It
something went,
depends.
or do you think something went missing there?
It definitely does depend because I definitely feel like a lot of times it feels like they're kind of incomplete. Like it kind of. So I've watched a lot of things where I've looked at a character and I was like, oh my gosh, this character would be absolutely perfect, but this one thing is really icking me. Like this one thing, they would be perfect otherwise, and I kind of have to be like, okay, I kind of have to take what I can get, and it kind of sucks that we have to have that attitude when it comes to consuming media, because we shouldn't just have to settle for like, okay, this is the best we've got. Like we should at least be able to have a satisfactory story.
We shouldn't have to settle for any goddamn thing. Come on.
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense. I don't know why.
Yeah,
You
it
can
really
bet three
depends.
question. It doesn't make any sense.
It's kind of rare when I feel like I relate to black characters in media, because
I
I think
know.
that as myself and people I know, and it's like, no, we wouldn't do this, we wouldn't say this, we wouldn't act like this, we don't even go here, I don't even know these people, right? Like,
Yeah. The last black character I related to was Junior from Blackish, because he's just as much of a nerdy and awkward person as me.
I remember watching Blackish and being so disappointed at some point just because how mean they were to Junior.
I know, right? I know.
And it's like, man, Anthony Anderson, you have this opportunity to represent black people in a positive way, and yet you went with a cheap joke and the degrading of your son, who yes, he's a nerd, but he's smart. So give him an opportunity. And
Yeah.
Sorry, go ahead.
He's relatable, cute too,
Yeah,
but you know what I mean.
and I think that's one of the things is that when we get somebody, then eventually they get ruined.
Do you think that's done to appeal to white audiences?
Yeah, I think it's a producerial thing where they go, let's lean more into something rather than let the story develop and the characters develop and grow, but let's lean more into something. So we had an episode where the dad made fun of the son here in this moment, and it was funny. So let's just do that from now on.
Hey, Mama, that's definitely a shame, man.
Yeah, so it ends up being really extreme, and then you lose it, right? Me and my wife are watching Abbott Elementary.
Extreme, baby. Oh yeah, I love that.
Abbott is fun. They do have the principal who is a kind of ghetto fabulous principal who does a lot of things that are real shady. And they keep fighting for her to be better, but she doesn't actually end up being much better. Once every 4 episodes, she does something that's good. But
Yeah, she's a little. It was immature.
yeah, but the rest of the characters though, they're all relatable enough.
Oh, little Miss
Yeah.
Margaret, don't you look fabulous? Thank you, I'm you.
Especially like Janine and Barbara. I relate to them.
Kura, Bonnie, Ty, any thoughts?
I think I've said everything that I had in mind.
I really can't say that I as far as do you feel like it's an accurate representation of who I am? I really do not think I can say that I hardly ever feel that way. Like TJ said, it's very rare that I feel that way in certain shows or movies that I watch where I can see this black character and I feel like, oh my god, it's me. It represents me so well. I never. No,
The only
again,
show that
I wouldn't do
can-
this or that or act this way.
Right.
You know.
The only show that I could say, if you combine if you combined the 4 lead roles in the cast, is Girlfriends. Like if you took Joan, Tony, Lynn, and Maya and combined them into one, I saw little pieces of myself in each of them. I don't know. I used to watch Moesha.
I remember Moesha.
Yeah, like there were little aspects of things like in like certain things in the Cosbys, because like I had like that bougier side of the family, and then like certain things in Moesha, because like I was kind of from the suburbs, and then like with girlfriends it was kind of had a mix. Raven, that's a Raven, I'd have to say. I saw myself a lot, and that's a Raven. Just because like she was down with the get down. Like you knew that she was like aware that she was black, but she was still a little kind of suburban. She was kind of outlandish. Her parents didn't play, but she had like leeway, so that the plot could happen. And probably like the Proud Family.
Yeah.
Yeah,
like any like particular character, like no, there were just like dynamics in certain shows. I was like, okay, like that's relatable, but I don't know.
Yeah, when you mentioned the Cosby Show, that was the only show where I was like, that family dynamic is the closest that I have in media. It's like mom and dad. I'm an only child, so I didn't have any brothers or sisters, but having kind of a goofy professional dad, having a little bit more of a serious but still caring and loving professional mom, and that to me was the epitome of my life. So that's the only real show that I could go like, yeah, I'm Theo. I'm definitely Theo, and there are times where I am one of the sisters, or I'm all the kids. I'm all the kids, and then my parents are right there. But that's the only show that I've seen ever really to get it somewhere. Family Matters got close too.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Did you know that in Family Matters that was written by an entirely white male Jewish writers group, which is why.
Surprised me.
Yeah, and so Jill White talks about it, how the first few episodes they have these black women saying "oy vey," which is a very Jewish saying, and then eventually they kind of rebelled and were like, "We're gonna speak like black people now," but they kept Urkel the same because he turned that into a character, and the only reason why he thinks it works is because you have this black dude being a nerdy white guy, and all the white folks could be like, "Oh, he's funny. I know him. I can recognize him in my family. Now I can watch Family Matters."
Steve is one of the most relatable characters out there. I mean, he's nerdy and he's nasally, and a bit of a nuisance, but that's because his family hardly ever there in his life, and all the reason why he's with his neighbors like every other day.
Yeah, but that man needed to learn that no means no.
Yeah.
True.
They were all kids. They have some growing up to do. Yeah. It takes a while.
Felt. Any thoughts?
On here.
Yeah, that's pretty much it.
So we're gonna move on to the next question, which is very, very, very controversial topic. So
get your pitchforks ready.
Exactly. Don't shoot me. Don't kill me. I'm just the messenger.
We ride it.
I'm not shooting.
What are your thoughts on race swap characters?
Could I say something really quickly?
Oh, sure, go ahead.
As someone who kind of like, I've had experiences with like kind of headcanon, like I said earlier, like headcanoning characters as black and whatnot. And also some people, see that character as a lot of representation. I personally have no problem with it because I've kind of defended this from the rooftop since the very beginning. I genuinely do not see it as a problem because in certain medias, there is a lot of representation for pale skin characters. There's no it's not exactly a minority. So I do believe that it isn't race swapping to kind of give a character some melanin, especially since if you don't take away the character's original race, like for instance, if a character is Japanese per se, and you give them some melanin, they're Blasian. You're not taking away anything from, their Japanese heritage. You're just kind of giving them a little more to them. And I think that's awesome. I think that's totally okay. Especially since and I do think the controversy behind it, the whole blackwashing thing, it kind of feeds into people hating on cosplayers also, especially black cosplayers.
I know.
What was their name? The cosplayer who unfortunately committed suicide because a lot of white supremacists were hating on her cosplays.
Yes, and I've had people say that I've been blackwashing all the time, I do think.
Yeah. So to tell the story real quick, so you guys aren't aware, the way I found Kurapika was I was just on Twitter minding my own business, and then I saw her Junko and Oshima cosplay. I thought it was really good, but then I saw people in the comments were saying "Oh, Grok, make her white. Oh, Grok, make her hair straight."
Because I cosplayed Junko with an afro wig.
And it turned out amazing, by the way.
Thank you. But overall, I think that harmful rhetoric really harms cosplayers too, because if people, okay, so think about it this way. If, you go into with the thought process of like, oh, you're taking away that character's race by adding melanin and, you're basically erasing their character, you're blackwashing them, quote unquote, is what they like to call it. Taking that and putting it onto cosplayers who are cosplaying in black, not being able to change your skin tone whatsoever, you are essentially telling them they cannot cosplay because they are black, and them inherently doing so is erasing the character's heritage.
I'm gonna let the thirsty in me come out for a second. I have seen some brilliant black cosplays by cosplays of white characters by black people. I saw a really good Tifa one. I've seen some great Raven ones from Teen Titans. I've seen I saw a really good Lara Croft one. I've seen a bunch. No complaints here.
We'll just be self-picky about things.
For me, it all goes back to whatever the root of the art form is, and whatever that character is. So for like cosplay, it's about the costumes. Mm-hmm. So as long as your costume is on point, then there really shouldn't be any issues, right? But when it comes to like characters, then if they are defined by their culture, then I think you start to get a little muddled. So you take somebody like Superman, and let's say you want to race swap him. Well, what is at the heart of it? What is Superman besides an alien? He's a farm boy. He just lives in the country, right? So then, if you cast a Latino as Superman, does it change anything? No, because
he's Latino farmers there are in freaking California.
Exactly. So if you start to add some interesting dynamics there. Right. If you make him black.
Oh, okay. I see what you're
does that change? Right? That's when it to me is like interesting. If there is no set culture that he is trying to represent in that moment, and it could be any other race, then go for it. If you have something like in Doctor Strange, they had Tilda Swinton play an Asian woman, and so I think they changed it from a man to a woman, and then from a woman who was Asian
is an Asian man.
The ancient one. Yeah, the ancient one was a man. Then it became the woman, and then they tried to make her Celtic, but they still did the eye thing to make her have more Asian of appearance. That to me was wrong.
Yeah.
Because the ancient one was yes, and it's historically supposed to be Asian, which is why you had other Asian characters in there. And so to change the one main focused, all-powerful being into a different culture, that seemed wrong to me.
Yeah.
But it was because it was so ingrained, the culture was so ingrained into it. That's when I find it to be an issue.
Mm-hmm. I understand that.
I agree. I feel like if the character's written to be, like, if they're written to be a certain nationality, or like their race or the nationality is directly tied to how that character is written, then that's the only time that type of accuracy matters. And like the thing is, when we consume a lot of these stories that are written by white people, every character that they're creating is like kind of white by default, and very few of them are white for a reason. They're just white because they're just not thinking about including black people. So like when we bring this to live action and people decide like, hey, you know what, like, there's nothing stopping, they're like, there's nothing stopping this character from being a man or a woman, or this character from being black, or whatever the thing is, like, as long as it's not taking away from like the core foundation of who that character is.
Yeah, it's the roots. If you get the roots right, then you can do whatever you want to the leaves.
I do think the beauty of oh, sorry, were you trying to say something?
I kind of was, but you could finish. I could wait.
Oh no, you can go ahead.
All right, I was saying, hey, as long as their character descriptions and their personalities are still intact, and make it more 3D to 4D, then the color shouldn't matter, should it?
Mm-hmm. What I was going to say before is that I think the beauty of creating art is the beauty of interpretation. And I do think that if it doesn't hold, like, for instance, if a certain media, for example, if it was Mulan, for instance, I don't think that race swapping that would be necessary, because that belongs to a certain identity that everyone's representation.
That would be terrible. Awful.
And though, contrary to, because I know people were very upset about like the Little Mermaid, Rapunzel being swapped, I think those aren't really a problem.
Rapunzel swapped? I'm confused.
Well, it wasn't, basically there was a whole uproar online. She wasn't swapped per se, but basically okay, here's what happened. There was I believe an Indian actress. Her name was Avantika, and someone fan casted her as Rapunzel. And a lot of rumors went around. People thought that she was actually being casted as Rapunzel. So people were getting mad. They were like, basically the whole Little Mermaid thing all over again. Like, you guys are race swapping our characters. Like, Rapunzel should be white. Keep her white. When, I mean, as long as she has the long flowy hair and stuff, I don't see a problem. And I think different stories can have like different renditions of things. That doesn't mean it's the original. Like, it's not the original. That's the whole point. But making it accessible to so many different audiences, especially as a fairy tale that it has so many different like versions of it. I feel like people are mainly just upset because, you know, they've had something that was just for them, that they could say was them, just only them. But now that it's not being changed, it's only being expanded to more audiences. People are upset because it's not just for them anymore.
It's hard to share. I was just saying that I have 2 kids. It is very hard to learn how to share. And some people who have not been taught how to share don't know how to do it, and so they get mad.
I'm admittedly a bit of a hypocrite on this topic because I absolutely loved the decision to make Halle Bailey Little Mermaid. I loved the outrage. I live for it. I was so happy to see.
The hate.
The hate does feed me. Like, I was so happy to see all those racists angry about it. I ain't even watched the movie myself yet, but I loved it just for that. I love it just for that. But at the same time, like, if they were to say, make Princess Tiana a white woman, somebody might have to get dealt with, you know? That would piss me off.
But that goes to what we were saying, though. Because what is the culture of a mermaid? Like, what is the historical culture of a mermaid?
You know, it's crazy.
There's more Caribbean culture surrounding mermaids than from what I've seen.
Well, there's mermaid cultures, like mermaid myths throughout, like, all over the world, like through Syria. Japan has their own interpretations of it. Mermaids were started by supposedly Christopher Columbus when he was over here in the Caribbean.
When he was colonizing, killing, destroying.
They were manatees. I guess he liked them thick. I don't know.
but that's my point though, because he was saying that, you know, having Ariel being black, that caused outrage. There's no reason why she can't be. There's no reason why she can.
Crazy. The original Little Mermaid story, she was green. She wasn't even white.
I do think that the bottom line is that there's no harm in going darker, like for a character, interpreting a character as darker skin. However, there is harm in headcanon the character to be lighter. And I feel that's the difference people need to realize.
Yeah, like people don't understand the historical precedence that there is for that.
Right.
Yeah.
What do you guys feel about when a character, because TJ, you just reminded me of this. So I remember when Titans they were announcing the casting choices for that show, and they had Starfire be played by Anna Diop, black woman. When Starfire in the comics is orange, she's an alien, orange alien from Tamaran. Like, she is of no human color. So people were outraged by that when, I don't know, it was just weird. So what are you guys' thoughts on that?
Well, I guess that depends on how it plays out, because if they're just gonna make her look orange in the movie with CGI movie magic, then who cares? But
what I have to say about that, I'm not really too into like Teen Titans, so I don't really have much say over it. But what I would say is, like, because I don't know what like the character was inspired by, because that's a lot of the stuff that I consider. Like, was the character inspired by a black woman? Was she inspired by someone who was, you know, Hispanic? Like, there could be all sorts of things that she was inspired by that could be removing. So I don't know. But I have seen people saying that, oh, Starfire was inspired by a black woman, and if that is the case, and you know, she does have curly hair in her, if that is the case, I think keeping those qualities would be really nice. But then again, I don't really know the media itself, so I can't exactly scrutinize it the way that I wanted to. But you kind of get the point.
That's an interesting angle to look at it from, because I feel like sometimes characters are like, they're designed based off of black features, they're just not given black skin. And so like when we consume them in you know, drawn forms or like animation, it's one way, but then in the live action it's like, actually, if you take the characteristics and like everything about this character, it would actually make more sense that they be black.
And also the fact that you say about that with, you know, the characters having black features but not exactly black skin, it also feels like it's a way to discredit us from features that we ourselves have and take away the representation that we view this character as. Because, you know, they could argue like, oh, just because they have features that way, like so many other people can have that features, but they're not black, so like they're not for black people. And yeah.
That can be seen in history as well, because if you look at around slavery times when Africans were brought to the States, black women, of course, were very nice bodies, thick thighs, big booties, all that, and white women would make fun of them. But when the slave masters were fiending for them, now all of a sudden, now it's imitation. They want to wear these big dresses that make their butts look bigger. They want to do BBLs. They want to work out and make it,
They're basically trying to take everything that they're
literally
making
wear
fun of.
lace front wigs to make their hair full.
Yes. Oh my God. I saw this one TikTok.
The lips.
It was
The lip injections.
Yeah, I was saying like
Yes.
because before
The
people would make
Caroline
fun of
Levitt injections.
black women for their lips and
Not the
then turn
Caroline
around and
Levitt.
get lip fillers the next day.
Mm-hmm.
Want to do that? I'm like,
Go ahead.
why do people want to do that to the bodies God gave them anyway? I don't get it.
I mean, do what you want with your body. I will say that.
Mhm.
You know, we don't judge for surgeries or any cosmetic shit around here. But
Yeah.
damn, those smoke
What
pictures
about the-
did not do her well.
God.
What about the goddamn side effects?
Wait, I do want to mention one more thing before closing thoughts. The original Cinderella was a story about an
Yes.
Egyptian woman.
Oh.
I didn't know that.
So
Yeah, eat it.
because the original Cinderella was Rhodes, and it was a story about a woman
Oh.
falling in love with an Egyptian prince.
Look at that.
So
No
make
idea.
of that what you will. Any
Holy
closing thoughts?
macaroni.
It's almost like the character was whitewashed or something.
Yeah, it's almost as good as historical presence for that. Holy shit.
Dang.
So, what is the value of having black culture represented in the media? Discuss.
I do think the value. Oh, sorry, was someone else going to speak?
Not me.
Oh,
good.
Nope.
I'm just gonna say that I feel like a lot of people would feel inspired mainly because I've had people like as a cosplayer that is black, I had a lot of people tell me like like people who are black also like look up to me and say like, oh, you inspired me to start cosplaying, like you
That's
you know
awesome.
it makes people like forget out the hate. And I feel like people being able to see themselves represented in media, not even just on screens and animations and whatnot, like seeing people be actually animated just like, not animated, on media just like them, it kind of can be like, well, if they could do it, I can do that too. And whatever people say online, like, it's clearly not true because this person's over here working it. I do think that it could give people a lot more confidence and inspiration to do the things that they love. And that's not just towards cosplay or, partaking in, social spaces. Like, for instance, there's a character portraying someone as a doctor and that is black. It's like, okay, well, as a black person, they too could get that far, because so many medias represent black people as not being able to get far when it comes to academics or in life, or just being stuck in the same place, having some kind of generational record, when they are capable just as much as any other person, and their any backgrounds does not define them. It is a part of them, but it does not make them, if that makes sense.
Right. Okay. No, I get
Yeah,
that.
I think it is also.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I was going to say that I think it's just important always to have more stories, right? I'm just thinking about, like, I'm an author, so what matters most to me is stories. And when you start to have cultures being represented that are outside of whatever the norm is, you start getting more stories and more interesting takes on stories. And the more that you do that, the better things get, and the more inspirational things can be. And I don't know, I think it's always important to have more than just one idea out there in the world.
Ain't that right?
I think it's extremely important to have black culture represented in the media, especially for young kids. We were talking about Princess and the Frog earlier. Imagine, like, you're a little girl, you're so used to seeing the Cinderellas and the Beauty and the Beast and the Snow Whites and the other ones, and suddenly you see I'm sorry, what?
I said that's true.
Mm-hmm. And then suddenly you see Princess and the Frog, and yeah, she's broke, but that can be fixed. But
Bonnie.
you're so used to seeing people not like you, and then suddenly there's someone like you, except the whole frog thing. But it's fine.
Yeah.
It's very important. It makes you feel seen. It makes you feel like there's a place for you, especially in a positive space. I know we kind of talked about black excellence being very prominent, but at the same time, that's important too. I'll go back to Hidden Figures. 3 black women working for NASA, doing the formulas properly that nobody else was doing right, and they turned out being the ones that were right. You know, that stuff is important.
Right.
I feel like it's important because it gives us human agency. You know, sometimes I can tell when like a director or a writer is uncomfortable with the black character because they're always giving them like an excuse to be like whisked away or off of the show or just out of the screen or out of the scene altogether. Where it's like, you know, we need that human representation so that, you know, our dialogue doesn't just end on some cliche joke as we pan to the next scene, or you know what I mean, like our characters aren't just written off like, oh well, Jamal went to basketball camp so we won't be seeing him. Like fleshing out our characters and letting other people see, like we've already seen in our lifetime the narrative since we've gotten apps like, you know, TikTok and YouTube, where we can kind of disprove these cliches about things we see on the news and things we see on Maury, and just seeing how like black audiences kind of demand more three-dimensional characters. But then, and even for the sake of like, you know, the greedy directors and movie makers and whatever, even just showing them that like black culture is marketable in many ways, not just the one way that you're choosing to market it. Like we got, you know, an amazing movie last year, Sinners, which, you know, had black people, even included black struggle, but didn't make it the plot of the movie. There was like a lot going on where it's like, okay, like, yeah, this is realistic. It's in our time frame. Like there's more to it than just like a cliche, like movie in this time period with like vampires or whatever. But I don't know, just, I feel like someone said earlier, like just more stories, because it's not just one character. You know, we can't be like a monolith. We need more stories about us just for the sake of having stories about us.
Oh yeah, speaking of like black representation, that's definitely important. The last time I've seen it, and mostly in a cartoon perspective, you guys are familiar with the Craig of the Creek, right?
I think I heard of it.
Yeah.
A couple of writers from Steven Universe got together to create that show, and Greg and most of the other Creek kids, they are black, and some of them are black with another ethnicity too. Like this girl who works at the trading tree to trade snacks and toys to the kids. Her name's Kit. She's black with a Korean descent. I could tell by the way they drew her eyes.
You know, and one thing that I think about whenever I'm thinking about pushing my stuff out is I would love to change the narratives and love to destroy the stereotypes. Because when you get somebody who's super successful like Tyler Perry, he goes out there and he has these types of people that he represents. And if that's all we got, then of course we're going to be disappointed. But if we are able to get past that and do more than that, and maybe that's what my stuff can do, then it's just going to change everything. It won't be just you get ghetto characters or really hard, mean, strong black women type characters. Maybe you get a little bit of a bunch of different stuff now, because in my story, you got a black wizard who ends up being a really good father figure.
Love that.
Now you have this new type of stereotype where it's like, oh yeah, black men are the best fathers in the world because they care more about their family than they do anything else. You know, so just changing the narrative. I think it's important to always try.
True.
Okay, that's a beautiful answer.
You know, I try.
Don't forget us when you're famous.
Exactly. Yes.
This is where I got
that one time we made that video and we were like talking, and that one time.
That's cool. I'll have you guys out on tour.
Sorry, go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, I was just asking Ty or Kura if they had any thoughts, because they've been a little quiet.
I don't really have anything much of value to say, though. I just, think that people should start doing better.
Always have something of value to say. What are you talking about?
Thank you.
I really think that it is important for black culture to be represented in media as like I said, a way of telling more stories, having inspiration, and just having more, I guess, different views on life. I guess, like, showing, especially with what TJ said, like, showing, like, with kids growing up, I definitely believe that TV is obviously, like, a big influence on, like, people in a certain generation. Like, showing how people act and how people can be, especially to children. It makes them, aside from what parents, tell them and how they're raised, it makes them grow up having this sort of mindset and thinking that they can treat a person this way or that, and thinking that it's okay to do this or that or say this and that and whatever. And like television plays a big role in that, I believe, and like in stories that people read or watch. And I think that having like great Black representation can be a chance to, educate and teach people, look past all these stereotypes, these cliches, these straight white male people think that Black people do, and show them that, like, again, we're all human, we're all not perfect, but we all don't act the same either. We all have different, point of views. We all don't act this way or do that, or we don't always have problems with drugs or with family or broke or some people do, and it's real, but not everyone, goes through that. And so I just think it, all in all, it's definitely a way to educate people, especially kids, and have them, not grow up in a certain, like, having a certain view or mindset of certain people and cultures and representatives. Like, being told a good story, being told a good story can really, like, make a difference to someone else's life by seeing someone else's,
Yeah, so I'm a father of two kids. I have a 6-year-old and a 2-year-old, and the shows that I have them watch are going to paint a very different picture of life than the one that I had, because there's so much more like Black female child empowerment kinds of cartoons out there. So you have like Ada Twist Scientist, Eureka, which is about the first inventor in caveman era, who's a Black woman who invented the wheel. And so you have these different shows just for like Black girls and then Black boys, and so they're going to grow up with all of these Black superheroes and Black successful cartoons, and they're hopefully then going to be like, well, I can literally do whatever I want in life, because if this cave woman can be a scientist, then so can I. So
I love that.
Just the impact of media on generations is integral. Like, because like I grew up watching Fresh Prince of Bel-Air and Cosby Show, so I grew up with the idea that a family was a tight-knit unit that loved each other and treated each other with kindness, respect, and love.
That's true.
And so then when I have friends who did not watch stuff like that, who watched a lot more either like, shows or hood shows or shows that didn't have Black people in it at all, then there's always something missing with them, or they're pushed too far into a stereotype. Like I have cousins who grew up in the same area that I did, but they're all hood. They're like real hood, and it's like, why? Oh, because you watched a lot of those shows. I see. I didn't, and therefore I'm not there. I chose different because the hood life did not seem like something that, one, I wanted to achieve, and two, it didn't seem like a smart thing to do. So, but media was super influential in that.
I can speak to that being from the suburbs. I grew up around a lot of people who felt like they needed to represent the Black experience the way that they saw it on TV. And so it's like when you're Black and you don't have a lot of representation, to kind of stay in the cultural now, you kind of lean towards whatever the mainstream is, the mainstream trendy thing is for Black people. And like in the 90s, that was like a lot of like gang culture and stuff like that. So you had like kids that had never seen a broken glass in the street, like coming to school, acting extra hood, being more defiant because they thought that was like the cool thing to do.
The white kid that wanted to be hood.
Or the black kid, like the Black kid that's not from the hood that feels like he needs to be hood to impress other Black people or impress the white people and show them that he's Black enough.
Yeah, that was my life right there, because I thought that, because I saw a lot of like basketball stuff and all these what Black men were supposed to be. And so I remember being in college and going like, man, I'm just not Black enough. I can't play basketball the way that I want to because I'm only 5'5" and I can't do this. I'm not funny enough there, and I can't sing and I can't rap. So I'm just not Black. I guess I'm just not Black. And I had to have a Black friend tell me, do you know how I know you're Black? Because you're Black. That's how I know. And I was like, oh, that felt real good. Thanks, man. Golly gee willikers.
That must
I
be
felt
a
that
horrible feeling
too.
to grow up with.
It can be scary. It can be
I-
really scary thinking that you're not, who you think you're supposed to be.
Mhm.
Not realizing that you're not supposed to be anything, It's a way, it can be a way to like show that everyone can be who they are and worthy of respect.
Exactly, yeah. I'll drink to that. Kura, any thoughts? Miss Mori?
Nope.
Miss Mori?
I think I've said everything I needed to.
Alright, then we're gonna move on to the next question, which is, what is the best representation of black and brown people in the media? Now, this could be a character, this could be a celebrity, anyone that falls within the category of black or brown.
Currently or like all time?
You could say all time.
Okay.
Right, I would say the best example of black and brown representation is currently happening right now with all of us content creators that are showing our experiences online every single day, and even bringing awareness to like the lack of diversity in what we see in our stories that are being told. But I feel like right now, like, we are becoming the representation that we don't have, which ironically is, I'm guessing, how most of us found each other, and just like building that bridge, like, oh, like there's other black people like me that like the Geek of Sailor Moon, and also like, I don't know, you know what I mean, like,
yeah.
like there's these little bridges, and so I feel like we're kind of like, unfortunately it's not on screen, but because of a lack of such a thing, like, we've just decided to start being really vocal about who we are and our experiences.
That's
I
pretty
was gonna say that I think a really good representation in my eyes. This is mainly going off of like just media that I've consumed lately, since I know there's like definitely like probably better ones out there that are even better that just aren't at the top of my head right now. Though I think Heathcliff from Limbus Company is a really good one. My reasoning for that is basically Heathcliff from Limbus Company is inspired off of Heathcliff from Wuthering Heights, and as you can probably tell, if for those who have heard of it, Heathcliff is inspired in the regular book. He's referenced to be a black man or a man of like darker skin, and in the movie live action movie that's coming out about it, they tried whitewashing him. They tried turning him to a white man. Though in Limbus Company, where they inspired that they referenced that media, they kept his darker skin, and in the media they wrote about a man who grew up in a home that was predominantly white. A man, like a boy who was orphaned and very impoverished. He was brought into a white family, treated very badly. They often compared him to being a mutt, and I think it approached those issues being very, very thoughtful, and it kind of had a very good storyline, and I feel like they wrote it in a way that kind of was between the fine lines of addressing the issues while also not playing into any stereotypes. And he still had traits that kept into his trauma and things that old habits die hard kind of thing, but they still turned him into a character that was very intriguing to see, and I really appreciated that kind of thing a lot.
Right.
Black Panther, throw that out there.
Yes.
I mean, Afrofuturism in a utopia, like, that sounds great.
I think that was the first time we ever saw Afrofuturism in the big screen.
Yes.
I believe so.
Really?
Because I've always seen that as more like like something you would come across on like DeviantArt or some shit. But like Black Panther really put that on the market.
Yeah, and then they didn't whitewash it in any way. They didn't make it like, now you have these big cities that feel a lot like New York, and now we're all wearing suits because whiteness is the epitome of civilization. They were like, no, these are African people. So we still have markets where we're all yelling at each other and being communal and just being together and vibrant, just with music and tradition and all that stuff. Like, they kept it authentic to what our ancestors, what Africans are, what we are. Like, that was really awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I remember watching that movie the first time and being like, "Aw, see?
I'm gonna have to steal his answer on this one.
Yeah, and then I'll just go back to
Why are you stealing?
do it steal. But I'll just go back to the Cosby Show, just because stable black family, all professionals. The kids didn't get into drugs and drinking or anything like that. The kind of worst that happened is one of the sisters got a Harvard-like education and wanted to become like a veterinarian. Like, that was the big scandal.
The best form of black representation in media, I say definitely Craig Williams and Craig of the Creek. Because, yes, he's a child, but still, most of the Craig of the Creek has some good black representation.
Oh, in Abbott
Not just
Elementary too.
Reggie Boy himself, but not just him and his family, but there's a lot of other characters. Let's see, there's Ren, there's Kit, there's Sparkle Cadet. Sparkle Cadet is a Sailor Moon parody. He's a Sailor Moon a walking love letter to Sailor Moon fans, not just of the black variety, but fans of all races.
That's nice. Okay, I didn't know that.
Yeah, she's practically the Serena of their playtime, and it's her persona inspired off of her, but she made it her own. And her Sailor Moon inspired wand of combat is a bubble wand, a toy, but she made it her own too.
That automatically makes her top tier. We love bubble wands in this house. TJ, Kura, thoughts?
You can go ahead.
Oh, you go ahead.
All right. I mean, I don't really have a specific example. I won't go fiction. I guess I would just say like I really do enjoy seeing more black and brown people in, I guess, like positions of power, or more so being brought to the forefront. You know, black
like in
mayors, governors, representatives, senators, or just like seeing black people as the faces of something. You know, I guess that would be mine. I don't really have a specific example, but that does make me happy seeing more of us at the forefront leading the charge.
Okay, that's a nice answer.
I was just gonna say that I think another character that I really enjoyed too, growing up, was Talia from Molly Rock. I know I mentioned her before, though I genuinely think that she's great rep, mainly because she's not to the point where it's like, you know, to the point of stereotypical independent black woman who they just try to make edgy a lot. She's genuinely very strong, and she has a very strong personality. Like, she has a fair bit of confidence. She still has like her flaws and things that like she works towards, but that's just with any character, and I feel like they write her in a way that doesn't, I can't really think of any apparent stereotypes with her. I just genuinely think that they kind of put, the main thing that I think about her is they put her on the same level as the other two protagonists who are, you know, pale skin. Like, they don't really kind of have any, it doesn't feel like a division where it's like, oh, there's these two main characters and that one black character. It's just like, it's the three main girls.
Right.
Yeah.
Aliens.
Starfire. Going back to that.
Yeah, I know. Well, true. I'm just saying. I mean, every color of race is pretty much there in Ophedia. So
fair. Bonnie, I can't remember if you gave your answer or not. I think you did, but I'm not sure. I'm gonna go with yes because she's back. Bye.
As far as my favorite representation,
yeah.
Oh no, I gave a couple. Okay,
I wasn't sure.
Yeah.
Thank you for making sure. Okay, so then we're gonna move on to the next question, which is, do you think the media we consume has a hand to play in creating or propagating stereotypes of black and brown people?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah,
100%.
100%.
I think a lot of the things that people kind of reenact or try to like do, because for instance, like I've heard a lot of kind of talk about like, this is just like what I've seen lately. The show Baddies, apparently it shows a lot of
baddies.
Yeah, it shows a lot of harmful things that a lot of young black women are trying to replicate, which is like, and especially if like, you know, on those reality shows, they're kind of trying to showcase black women a certain way as aggressive, and you know, they're obviously trying to put on a show and put on something to kind of, it basically perpetuates a certain stereotype, and people are replicating those things and thinking that it's cool and that it's, you know, amusing because people are finding entertainment in those things. And then with people reenacting those things, it starts, you know, more of an even bigger stereotype where even more media kind of like base that off of black people because they think that's how black people act. And it's one big cycle of like the media, then people replicating the media, and then the media taking those replications and turning that into an even bigger stereotype that's even more harmful.
Yeah, and they've been doing this since vaudeville.
I think the media has done almost irreversible damage to the reputation of Africa, because a lot of times when I've been watching TV growing up, you see these commercials like, donate now for a starving child in Africa or something like that. Even, you know, families like, you better eat your vegetables, they're starving kids in our, you know, the whole thing. And like it just, the way it's shown, like people have come up to believe that Africa is just this poor, impoverished country. And one of my best friends, she's from Ghana, and when she
I get what you
mean. When she came here, she would get these stupid comments like, "Oh, do you live with lions?" or stuff like that. Like they think like they're just these wild, uncivilized people, and it did damage to the representation of the whole continent. And thankfully, recently, especially, I don't know if you guys know IShowSpeed. He did a stream where he went to Africa. And he showed how nice it is there, and people are like shocked, like, "Oh my gosh, I didn't know it was this good over in Africa." Like, yeah, it's been that way. It's just you don't see it. So, yes, the media we consume does play a role in propagating stereotypes of that.
Hardcore.
Ty, any thoughts?
I definitely agree with what he just said. Like, yeah, it has done a lot of irreversible damage.
Sorry, I know I said a lot.
No,
I love
you're
that
speaking
shit. I love
for
when
me.
people speak their heart here, so yeah.
Yeah, I don't really know much else to say about it. I kind of like agree with that, and I haven't really seen much out in there in media on this particular thing, but I definitely honestly, even without seeing it, I can definitely tell that it has had a hand to play in creating a lot of stereotypes and propaganda amongst black and brown people, and some unfortunately irreversible.
Yeah.
That's something I really have to say about that.
What about you, Kura?
No, I don't have any further thoughts.
Okay, Bonnie, Miss Lori?
I feel like it's a mixture. Like, of course, you have your like platforms like Baddies and Housewives and things like that, where it's like it starts off with one thing like, oh look, we're showcasing Black excellence, but then it also sends this signal like, no matter how rich and accomplished we get, we're not above throwing hands at a soiree, and that shouldn't be. Like, we don't want that to necessarily be the message either. I kind of feel like I'm a hairstylist, so like I hear people tell stories all the time about how like the night played out, and I can see where it kind of seeps into certain people's like personalities. Like, not all of a sudden like nobody, no one tells anybody anything because no, they're gonna know, and it's just kind of like, I don't know. You want to feel like some people age out of being influenced in that way, but they don't. So I feel like, because people are used to Black faces being attached to that type of drama, when they see characters that aren't attached to that, it's kind of like the overstimulated child who is like disinterested because, oh, this Black character is boring, she's not popping, there's not a lot of drama. Like, I was expecting her to bring like the spice to the show. Yeah, it's like, and so when she doesn't do that, the audience, it's kind of like we kind of set audiences up to expect, and not just with Black people, like in a lot of media, whenever there's like an unhinged or like evil version of your main character, they're usually like depicted a little bit darker, their hair is more disheveled, there's like lots of subtle ways that they nod to like the darker thing being like, oh, here comes the. And so I don't know, like even in these subtle ways, like the minions, there's like that purple creature that like you know what I mean? It's wild. Their hair is wild. It's just like, and they're the one that everyone kind of like rolls their eyes at. It's kind of like that. There's always these little subtle ways that they just like subtly tell you like the darker that something gets, the worse off it's going to be, and the worse the features, or the more like non-Eurocentric the features are, like the Wicked Witch of the West. It's like long before she was seen as a Black woman, like she was depicted as someone who doesn't fit into a certain beauty standard.
Because she was green and she had like a big ass mole on her head.
Like she has a big nose and this and the other, and it's like, but what about the woman that does feel beautiful, that, you know what I mean, has crazy, wild hair, or like, hair that's wavy the way that she likes it, and her nose is a little bit bigger. It's just kind of like, I don't know, that needs to be adjusted as well.
Yeah. Miss Lori?
Yeah. So I go what you guys are saying, but I echo what everybody's saying up here, to be honest with you, but I mean, I never really noticed that people of different colors of the literal variety could also represent Black characters.
In what way did you mean?
She was just talking about with one of the minions, and
Oh.
as well as y'all mentioning Patty and Skeeter earlier.
Mm-hmm.
The thought about them being black never really crossed my mind growing up.
Mm-hmm.
Even now, I just think that I thought that Jim Jenkins had them colored that way because just because of their personality traits and us telling who's who.
Mm-hmm.
If you look into it, you'll start to see where they do stuff like that in super negative ways, where they'll be like, all these characters are, fuchsia and teal colored. However, this character who is poor has bigger lips, and this character who is rich has, and they all are voiced differently, and maybe they're all voiced by white folk, but the characterizations that you see on the screen will be slightly Afrocentric. Mm-hmm. And then once you see it, then you see it everywhere.
Yeah, I mean, I know what you're saying. Again, I just thought it was a way for Jim Jenkins to tell who's who, or tell us who's who, I guess.
That's right.
Didn't really take much of a look.
Two things can be true. It could serve both purposes.
Yeah, I was about to say that.
Yeah, I think it can be both. I feel like with Doug, for me, it always just kind of felt like, if everyone was just like different colors, then that'd be fine. But then you have like the one family that's like the closest to a human skin tone, and then it's Doug, and it's like, well, it's not like Doug is yellow and Skeeter's blue and Roger's green and Patty is her color. It was kind of like the contrast was like you have all these color characters and then you have Doug. And also I feel like in the 90s there was a lot of advertisement with like brand logos, like Cheerios or like Chuck E. Cheese, like they would have those characters like head to toe in urban fashion and using like urban lingo. Yeah, where it's like this is our way to like profit off of Black culture without actually having to like use Black characters or voices or faces. It was just kind of like, I don't know. I feel like, you know what? And there's one character that I've overlooked in this whole conversation. Gerald from Hey Arnold. I love Gerald. Like he was, because like you knew that he was Black, from appearance and how he dressed. He culturally acted Black, but nothing about him felt like a token character. But that's not the question that we're on. But no, I just feel like there's a lot of movies, especially like the kids movies now, where it's like you're consuming Black culture, but not through like Black people. It's like in the form of like animals or bugs or like it's anything but a Black person. And if it's a movie about a Black person, they don't spend a lot of the movie being a human being.
Yeah, that made me real sad. We get first princess is a fraud. Why? Come on now.
Or like the movie Soul.
And then the first time I saw it, it's a great movie. I love it. But that first time that I saw it, I was like, wait, so we get our own movie and we have Tina Fey playing the Black man. I don't know. But it is a good movie.
He said, I don't know about that.
Yeah, it's like, why can't we just have our own thing where we get to see ourselves? Well, and that was one of the things about Black Panther that Stan Lee had to fight against, is they didn't want to show his skin tone. Stan Lee did, but the people who were going to help him fund the actual thing, the print run, they didn't want to show his black skin, which is why he's got a full mask rather than either no mask.
That's crazy.
Yep. Because he was just going to do a half mask or something that gave him more feline. Yeah, to make him a little bit more feline, but you could still see his skin. Yeah. But they were afraid that white people wouldn't want to see the show. So
that's fine.
Yep. So there's stuff like that all over the place, which is real sad.
Damn. All right. Any closing thoughts before we move on to the next question?
Nope.
Okay, so we're at the final 4 questions, and this one's is: what aspects of Black culture do you believe are missing in mainstream media?
I think a good chunk of stuff that's missing is, I guess, mainly kind of the balance of everything. Because I do think that there needs to be more balance. Like, the character can't be so I guess, aggressive, and also super, super quiet and stoic either. I feel like there needs to be a fine line. And it's one thing if the character just is more on the aggressive side or is like stoic, but there has to be like a reason as to why they're like that. Like for instance, if they're more aggressive, what if they had something in their backstory or their background that, made them the way that they are? Because people as people have things that turn them into certain ways. So if they grew up rough, they're going to grow up rough. And if they, grew up in a more studious environment, they're going to be a more studious person. Or not always, but like that's a lot of the times it's how it is. So I mean, it has to be a reason. They can't just, I feel like it gets more prevalent to be a stereotype if they're just like that. Like that's just how they are. No reasoning, no explanation. They're just aggressive and black. That's basically what they're just really are.
Yeah, I agree. That middle ground, like, it doesn't need to be rags to riches. It could be middle class to upper middle class. Like, I'm okay with that story. Or a boy meets girl story, not set in the hood. What if it's they live in Long Beach and
it doesn't even have to be the hood. They could still be like a little not wealthy. Like that's
it could just be anywhere.
Or something where they're from doesn't overshadow the story. You know what I mean? It's like when you watch movies like When Harry Met Sally, you didn't know how much money they made. That wasn't relevant. That's like the story centered around the characters. And that was just it. Like we're missing like practicality. Just like practical everyday stories where the people just so happen to be black and the story is not centered around them being black or things that have to keep reminding the audience that they are black.
Yeah.
Like nothing would change if they were or not.
Yeah.
Completely normal.
And I'd also say like a variety in spiritual background. Like every black person isn't a Christian that goes to church.
Yeah. I would say probably more black people in predominantly white spaces. Like, they're so obsessed with sports, and there are a lot of black basketball players, football players, track athletes, but let's see a story about a black hockey player. I want to see a black guy play lacrosse. I want to see
a black man play cricket.
I want to see a black race car driver. And we have that. Lewis Hamilton. There's a black NASCAR driver, I'm pretty sure. Like Yeah.
About that.
Magical girls.
That's what
Magical
I'd like
girls.
to see more, Let's talk about black rock bands or pop artists or stuff that you mainly see like white people in. Like I want to see more stories of black people getting into those spaces.
Yeah, we invented rock.
or black people or black people with just drawn with anime hair.
Yes.
Yeah. I have a mission where
anime hair. Is it alright if I share who one of them is?
Sure, go ahead. While you look for that, Ajala, you were saying?
Yeah.
Jayla, sorry.
One of the missions that I have in my life is to just make epic fantasies and just urban fantasies, contemporary adventure fantasies that have black leads, so that because this is one thing that I always wanted to do as an actor is I wanted to be on horseback riding in the cavalry filled with black people to go defeat the monsters, because Lord of the Rings is one of my favorite shows of all time, but ain't no black people in it. And so it's kind of like, well, yeah, I could be Merry, I could be Pippin, I could be any of these guys, but I have to bend my reality. So all my stuff I write. Yeah.
No,
Yeah,
Ajala, I agree. I feel like we need more like black Once Upon a Time that isn't necessarily tied directly to like our history in America or the civil rights movement or slavery, but just like once upon a time there were some people that happened to be black that go on a wild adventure or stumble upon an ancient magical relic or whatever.
Yeah, we're more than our past. I mean, come on. Black people like us have imagination too.
Oh wait, you have your drawing. Hold on, let me see that. Oh, I love it. He's got the Davis hair.
It's so cute.
I like it.
Well,
That's
yeah,
nice.
vocally speaking, funny you mentioned Davis, because that's exactly how Hector sounds. He sounds like Brian Donovan's voice for Davis Motomia in my head.
I remember you saying that in one of your live streams. Yeah.
What can I say? Most of the Digidestin and Naruto voices are as well as a bit of Static Shock are in my characters inside my head.
Phillips, I have voices in my head too. What?
Yeah, like this little lady here.
Oh wait, hold on.
I imagine
I closed it by accident. Hold on.
I imagine.
Wait, I didn't get
Sorry.
to see it. Let me see it again. Sorry.
Okay, hold on a second. Wait, hold on. There she is. There she is. This little lady right there. I imagine one of the characters Kate Higgins would play in my mind when I'm drawing her, like Sakura.
Yeah.
Yeah, Sakura. I love Kate's voice for her. She's really good at playing little kids.
Yeah. Plus, we fuck with blue hair in this house.
True.
Yeah, but generally, she's Japanese, but I kind of had her adopted based on somebody who's in real life is my mom.
That's cute.
Yeah, I sort of modeled her after her foster mother after my mom, and yes, she's black.
Love that.
Yeah, like I said, most of the Hector's also black, and so Hector and his cousin and Tuck, yeah, and Kayla, they're black. I mean, I made like half of him his best he and his best friends they're black. They may not look it, but they are.
Well, because they're black people with lighter skin.
Yeah. And
Ty, do you have any thoughts? I'm sorry I interrupted. Go ahead.
No, I'm done.
Okay.
Oh, I just wanted to throw this out there. I can hear my two goblins making noises. So I'm probably gonna go pretty soon because they're gonna be down here going, "Daddy, can I have can I do this?" And so I probably
goblins take precedence. Don't worry. Just let us know.
I love them.
Yeah.
All right, Ty, any thoughts before we move on to the next question?
So what exactly do you mean of like aspects of black culture, basically?
Well, when I was writing this question with TJ, because TJ also helped me out with these questions, what I was thinking was there are aspects of Latino culture that I've seen missing whenever they present like a Latino character. Like for instance, before prom we always have to learn how to dance salsa. We just have to, and I've never seen that done in a show. So yeah. That's something that would be missing. I'm guessing that the same thing applies to black people as well.
Yeah, we gave examples of things in black culture.
No, yeah.
Or I guess in my sense, it would just be, more rarities that do exist that you just don't see.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I guess I would have to like say that as well. Like black people being in more different settings, that's not like, the usual as we always see in media.
Yeah.
Right.
Certain other sports or maybe in other professional settings, like I don't know what those positions are called, but
Like higher
positions of
like
power, higher position. Yeah, like what TJ said before in the last question.
Ah, you stealing answers again.
I mean, you guys really do say what my answer would be. Like I just, I have a really like hard time formulating, and so like most of the stuff that's said I usually agree with. So it's like, but
You know what felt?
yeah, it would be nice to see more black people in their settings. Maybe more black leads in anime. Maybe
Yeah.
more.
Well,
Yeah.
Just
Black
generally.
There was this
girl,
black
black
anime
paladin.
tuber, I forgot what his name was. Fuck. I think it was. I want to say Shofu, but I don't think it's Shofu. Who's making like their own manga with a black main character?
That's cool.
Yeah,
I love that.
I forgot what it was called. But when I find it, I'll have it on the screen for sure.
Just I guess that's it. Like just generally more of the not usual settings, like more unique variety settings and roles that that black and brown representation can play in certain media.
Right,
And it's pretty simple.
Then I guess we'll move on to the next question, which is, how do you believe colorism has impacted the media created for black and brown people?
I do think that it's impacted it a lot in the sense of people write darker skinned characters a lot different than lighter skinned characters, I feel like. And I feel like there's not really any like full on darker skinned characters. Because I won't speak on this one too much just because I am I'm pretty light skinned. So I don't want to like overshadow anyone who might have more to say on it or have more experiences in this part of things. Though I definitely feel like lighter skinned people get a lot more slack when, for example, apart from like anime and stuff, just having a lot more lighter skinned characters overall. I think when it comes to like cosplay and stuff, darker skinned people get a lot more shit from what I've seen and what I've heard from other people's experiences.
Yes.
Because it seems like to some people, the lighter you are, the more you get a quote unquote pass for cosplaying
Right.
characters. Because people
That's
are
so
like,
silly.
oh, yeah, because in certain lightings, like, okay, people will be like, oh, well, you look lighter and you look more like the character. But if you're darker skinned, people are like, oh, you're not going to look like the character at all. And basically, like, I don't know. I feel like, especially in the sense of like, I don't know, you kind of get the point. But overall, like, it just, there's a very clear difference in the tolerance. It's crazy.
No, I feel that.
No, I definitely.
I'm sorry, Bonnie. Go ahead.
I was gonna say I definitely agree. I feel like I watch my fair share of shows that have like the angry dark skinned receptionist, or like if it's like a show where like they need to ask like a random person for information. If it's the black person, especially if she's like a brown skinned woman, she's just like impatient and like kind of intolerant. As far as it translates into cosplay, I feel like when I hear statements of people saying like, Usagi isn't black, it's like, well, she's also not white. But the added layer to that is, but because she's drawn with blonde hair and blue eyes, even though she's Japanese, it gives like a white cosplayer, like it makes them feel like they're more in proximity
Superiority.
to like what's correct to than the black cosplayer. I cosplayed as Sailor Moon as I performed because I rap. And someone was like, too bad your hair is not blonde. I was like, I don't need my hair, but my hair is accurately correct to the design of the character.
By the way, your rap was awesome. I saw that.
Thank you. But I also feel like the trope has worked in a way where, back to the reality show conversation we were having before, where like you have a lot of light-skinned girls that are on these shows like Baddies and Housewives and stuff that feel like, I'm going to prove that I'm not just some light-skinned pushover, like I'm going to fight and this, that, and the other. So like I see it work against us in many ways, where like the light-skinned person, because they have this trope of being like the softer amongst the black people, they feel like they have something more to prove or like show how like hard or like whatever that they can be, and then the brown-skinned person feel like they have to prove how smart that they are. It's just like, I don't know, it's really weird to see that it's still an active thing because there's so many people calling it out. But even on shows like The Proud Family, like the colorism is always there. And
I was gonna mention that I've seen a lot of video essays of people saying like how Penny is depicted a lot more positively versus like Dijonay.
Oh yeah, because it feels like in a lot of media, the darker you are, the quote unquote more ghetto you are, which is a little bit of a crazy like stereotype to make.
Right.
I don't know.
And it also
it
affects us interracially as well, because when black people in the South are talking about black people in the South, they have that same mentality that the blacker you are, kind of the more ghetto, the worse you are. And because I know that my mom, who's lighter than I am, was praised for her lighter skin, and she got a tan once, and her aunties were all like, "This is what are you doing with yourself? You're ruining a good thing." And so and it's true for my my wife's family as well. So the colorism is just another way to make us fight ourselves. And so we will find if there are two beautiful black people and the main character chooses the darker one, we won't accept it as easily as we will the lighter one, and that's sad.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, it's another thing that goes deep into history. People of fairer skin were always, treated better. Again, like way back when dark-skinned people were typically out in the fields and lighter-skinned people were in the big house, and it created an animosity between them. It's like, we're all black, we're all in a bad situation, but
it's just another divide.
The interesting thing about that is that they always depict a light-skinned slave as being the house slave, but historically, the women that were brought in to be like the mammies to the slave master's kids were dark-skinned women.
Yeah.
But they're like, and that's the only time that the house slave is not glamorized, is when they're talking about the mammy trope type.
Yeah.
And I was gonna say that I feel like the root of colorism in of itself is that it kind of originated from historical stereotypes that were set up, that the entire system was created by white people, and the fact that it kind of essentially puts like black people against each other and causes a lot of these different stereotypes to arise. It's really sad, because really there shouldn't be like infighting like.
Sometimes I get that happens.
Yeah.
But you know what's crazy? You also see imitation there as well. The sudden obsession with tanning, trying to look darker. There's imitation there as well. So it's like the thing that we were criticized for, made fun of, suddenly they want it,
I remember when I was younger, I think I was about like 13-ish at the time. I remember when like people called me light skinned at some point, and I thought the meaning of light skin was, mixed. And I was like, wait, I'm not light skinned. Like people are calling me light skinned. I'm not light skinned. People were like, no, you're light skinned. I'm like, no, both of my parents are black. And then I asked my mom, I'm like, am I light skinned? I don't think so. Like that's so crazy. And she was like, no, you're light skinned. You are light skinned. And I'm like, but my parents are both black. But no, she was like, but what you're referring to is mixed. Light skin and mixed are two different things. And like I feel like I at a young age had no idea what being light skinned was. I thought that I was dark skinned just because I had both accents, and that wasn't really the case. I learned since then that there's a way deeper stigmatization with being darker skinned, and that I kind of had a little bit more privilege in that sense, which is kind of crazy. And I feel like that's a very important thing to teach, because I did not know that for the longest time, and I was online, thinking that I was not light skinned, and people were calling me out on it. People were thinking like, you're crazy. What are you even saying? So like I feel like learning that thing early on could have prevented me from making so many mistakes in talking like I knew everything when I was like 12.
It's funny because I grew up thinking that I was dark skinned because my mom's family is really light. So like in comparison, I'm darker than them. So I just assumed that I was dark skinned, and I'm from Ann Arbor, where there's like a lot of biracial people. So like in comparison to other people, I felt like I was dark skinned. And then I moved to Baltimore, and someone was describing me, and they described me as butterscotch. And I was like, I felt I was like, butterscotch. And they're like, what? I was like, I mean, I'm dark skinned. They're like, no, you're not. I'm like, yeah, I'm like chocolate. They're like, no, you're like cinnamon at best. They're like, they're like, you're dark, but you're not like black. But even the way that they would, even the way that they say that, like, they're like, you're not black, like, but why do you guys keep saying like black like that? Like even within our community, like there's dark, and then what people say like dark, and it's always said with this negative like connotation, where it's like, how dark do you have to be before it's acceptable for people to start cracking jokes on you? But then we do it for people that are like what we always call like high yellow as well, where it's like, I don't know, no one wants to like claim the extreme, but I feel like that makes people that are in those like what we consider extremes feel more isolated.
And it's so sad also because I also know that like at a young age also, before I got informally educated, I feel like this is something that like needs to be more apparent in media also, going back to like the question of like why it's important to be in media. Because when I was younger, like when I first started out as cosplaying, those filters on TikTok that make you lighter, I would use those a lot because I thought it made me look more accurate. And my internal excuse for doing it was like, oh, but it makes my skin look more clear. It evens out my skin tone. But no, the realistic reason is because it seemed as if all the cosplayers that I was seeing, all of them were pale skin. And I felt like in order to be just like them, to the cosplayers that I looked up to, I had to kind of use my those filters to make myself look lighter, because then I'd be more accurate to the character. And then I realized actually that just made me look really crazy. And so I stopped using them over time. Yeah, none of that no more. But it was a crazy time, and I feel like if I had just learned a little bit more that like it was okay to be a black cosplayer and be like cosplay a character and not have to be white for it to make yourself be accurate, then I would not have done all those things.
Miss Laura, you have any thoughts? Kind of been a little quiet for this one.
Be told, I never really thought much about it, but what exactly was the question again? I'm sorry, I must have missed that.
I have it written down right here. It's, how do you believe colorism has impacted the media created for black and brown people?
Oh yeah. Well, I have to say, thinking about it now, some say it's some of it is positive because you got somebody to relate to. Others can be done in a negative way. It all depends on how it's written.
Okay.
If it's written in a good way, I'm all for it. But if it's written with the too many familiar tropes that's been done,
I was surprised about what Ajala said earlier about how people go at each other's throats in regards to colorism. Like, oh, you're lighter skinned. Why are you making your skin darker? It's crazy.
Oh yeah.
Because I want to be in the sun.
Man, the more I hear.
It can also.
Yeah, the more I hear about.
Oh, go on.
Sorry, it's okay. The more I hear about that, the more I think about that some crazy comments someone put on me when I was on my TikTok. I was cosplaying as Sailor Moon when she did her Moon Crystal power, right? But that, and it was translated from another language, but someone said I looked like Serena as if Ray used her fire power on her skin.
Oh my goodness.
What the fuck?
That's
horrible. I'm so
What
sorry.
the hell?
It's okay. I blocked their behinds, but I'm just saying, we cosplayers gotta. I mean, the cosplay community's gotta do better.
Mhm.
Yeah. Anyone have anything?
Alright, guys, I can hear my goblins. They're starting to terrorize my.
It's really okay.
Thank you so much,
I'm gonna
Ajala.
Thank you guys. You guys all take care.
Alright, much
course.
love.
You too.
Good
Have a good
talk.
one.
I was just gonna say the last thing of it can definitely like, especially like the idea of colorism is very, especially when like you have family members who are dark skinned, like all of your family is dark skinned, but you're like one of the only light skinned ones. It can definitely flaw your perception a little bit, which is kind of what happened with me, because I know like my mom's like the same color as I am, but my dad, he's darker skinned. Most of my family members are also of that complexion.
Right.
So I was like, yeah, like I'm not getting any lighter.
Damn.
Kind of like a.
Sorry, go ahead.
Oh. That's kind of like a similar, or like, it kind of reminds me of my background a little bit, because I didn't really know much about like how, colorism goes back then. Because I'm mixed. My dad is black, my mom is white. So I didn't really know that was the whole thing either.
Do you guys think that colorism affects casting choices?
Yes,
I
most
wouldn't be
definitely.
surprised.
I had heard that I heard from someone that they casted a black woman to play as the title role in Swan Lake, and they kept putting white powder on her face to make her look quote unquote more swan-like.
Oh my goodness.
Uh,
I actually have a story about this. It's like, it's not about casting specifically, but it's kind of related. I remember when there was a sponsorship company that I was, messaging, because, certain companies have like, email forms where you can fill out like, hey, if you want to sponsor with us, then, apply here. And I, messaged them. I was like, hey, here's my account. Like, would this be something that I'd be accepted or considered for? And I'm not going to repeat what they said to me, but they said, sorry, we don't do like it wasn't the N-word or anything, but it was a completely different slur. And they were basically saying basically they can't like sponsor me because
That's
I'm
crazy.
like I'm a certain skin tone. Yeah, and I was like, what? So I
would
think that's
post the screenshots all over if I were you. I'd be messy.
Oh no, I did. I think I screenshotted it at some point, but it's genuinely crazy how people can do those things. And I think it's very similar in like casting and whatnot, because especially since because I've always wanted to be like a professional cosplayer, but my main fear, which is so sad, is that like, okay, what if I can't be chosen because, I'm not the same skin tone as this character. People are not going to be as immersed in their experience. Like, it's not going to be the same. Because I know some people hire professional cosplayers for events of certain characters.
Right.
And I kind of had to accept the fact that I won't be picked for those because I don't look exactly like the characters. And if there is a character that's, black, I wouldn't have their complexion. I wouldn't look the same as really any character that I guess people are looking for. So it's kind of like, man, that sucks.
Oh shit, that breaks my heart to hear that. I'm so sorry.
Messed up.
I know it's all good. I've come to terms with it, or kind of just like that's just how it is mainly. Because I know accuracy is what a lot of people want in a lot of those spaces.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, shit.
Mm.
Any additional thoughts before we move on to the next question?
I don't have anything else to add.
Alright, so on to the penultimate question, which is, has the representation of black and brown people improved in the media over the past 10 years? And if it hasn't, how can it be improved?
It is ever
As
so
it.
slightly diverse. While we have mentioned cases and certain aspects of black culture that are not represented, there are a lot more that are. It is a rare case, but we do see more black characters who are more normal. It's not super ratchet, it's not super poor, it's not super athletic. We see more cases of black characters who are very smart, or very fashionable, or just very normal, which is what we want. Not off the top of my head.
Because you were describing that, and I was kind of thinking Rue, but at the same time, like, Rue does fall into certain stereotypes.
I love Rue.
Oh, Rue from Euphoria?
Yeah.
I love Euphoria. But
yeah, I know you posted a trailer on your story.
Yeah, she's far from normal.
Oh, 100%.
But
It wants to be normal.
But, you know, someone who recovers from that, but I guess deals with the repercussions of their past. I mean, it's not a historical sense. You know, it's not like slavery, segregation, all that sort of thing, but it is, it still falls into that trap of I'm haunted by the past, especially season 3, because it basically is a direct effect of what happened in season 2.
Yeah.
But yeah, I do think representation has improved. Like there's a lot more diversity than what you used to see, but there could definitely be more.
Yeah, that's how I feel a lot of the times too. I do think representation has grown a lot more. Things have gotten a lot less racist. It's
Yes.
where at least black characters can at least exist without being a walking stereotype. They are plagued by a few stereotypes that are a little underlying, though it isn't as blatant and in your face, which also needs to be fixed because, you know, if a stereotype is more underlying, if like you can still notice it, it's still a problem. But at the very least, it's not walking racism, and it more kind of dulled down to like, okay, maybe there's like a few flaws within their character that could be revised. Though of course it depends on the media, because there are some really good medias that I can name that have done a very good job. There's also some medias that I can also name that haven't changed at all. Like, I don't want to say names, but Genshin Impact has not changed with, like, you know,
oh god,
absolutely not.
Yeah, and that's something everyone can agree on.
I think that's the second time that show has been, that game has been brought up in this series.
Genshin Impact, isn't it?
This video is sponsored by
Genshin Impact.
Anti-sponsorship, where we just talk bad about Genshin Impact.
I've already said that they're never sponsoring me. With the first episode in this, I don't think they're ever going to sponsor me.
Yeah, you kind of sealed the deal on that one, but it's okay because I don't think they'd be interested in black people anyway. Have you seen their game?
Great Shadow Legends.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
I feel like it's improved in the sense that like we do see a lot more black people landing these roles. I feel like right now, like the issue with most media, which is bad writing. I feel like just a lot of shows and movies in general right now are just being written very poorly. I don't know what is going on in these writers' rooms where like who's okaying a lot of this stuff. Where it's like I see the premise for like a lot of potential, and then like the writing is just like not there. So then it's like all the characters kind of suck, and then on top of that, then you have like these sucky like inclusive characters that we just didn't really ask for. So I don't know. I have hope. I just feel like the answer is like we need more black people directing and writing and producing these shows and movies.
Right.
Agreed.
I definitely think that it's. I mean, I don't really watch that many things, but I definitely do see, like, you know, any improvement is improvement at the end of the day. I definitely see some improvements here or there. Some things I kind of notice take like one step backwards. There's one step forward, one step backwards, and sometimes it can be like one step backwards, 2 steps backwards. It's really like, at least in my viewpoint, it's really just depends. It really is mixed, no pun intended.
Sometimes
like
it's
from what in media, it's a really mixed view of things. But I mean, you know, credit is where credit's due, and again, I have to agree there with like a big part of the hindrance of it is bad writing, because I definitely have noticed that in a lot of some other shows that I watched back then when I watched shows more. But it can definitely, it's both. It can definitely still be improved a lot though, mainly by a lot of the things that we kind of already said earlier in this video. But yeah, I think that with more, you know, careful writing, more, you know, education, more looking up, more learning more about certain cultures, and more remembering that, you know, we're human beings and that everyone has the different way of living. No matter how the said person is or how they might live, it's all, you know, interpreted into different, you know, again, different viewpoints. And it can be tricky, but it's a very important thing to remember in media when writing or shows or books or whatever. And, you know, having good, respectable representation amongst ourselves.
Yes.
And
Mr. Dr. Professor Tai.
Oh no, hell no, I am no doctor.
What
Yeah,
are you
it can-
talking about?
Definitely from left to right, like it has have some improvements, but there's definitely a lot more room to improve.
Yeah.
The first step is done. We got more black people in media. Excellent.
Yeah.
Step 2. Give them a personality outside of just being black.
Exactly.
Miss Laura, you have any thoughts?
Yeah, we should. We should also, besides giving them a personality, we could also physically make them different. Because, like I said, making them have like anime hair. I mean, black people have a right to get themselves some anime style hair.
Instead of the Killmonger dreads again.
So
Right.
true.
Let's all have Killmonger dreads.
Let's
I
not.
can't do that. I'd be accused of cultural appropriation.
No.
I'm not about that life.
Most of my black characters, they have different hairstyles. I mean, I've even tried experimenting on them a bit.
Ooh, I see
That's
that.
Brandon right here. That's Brandon. His sides are cut, and that's Caden. His hair is more of an indigo kind of color, but I had his sides be braided, and the rest is messed out. Yes, and I kind of gave Caden more of an anime-esque hair color because indigo and purple colors are mostly representative of the creative types, and Caden's creative, and and we also need to talk about the fashion changes in like black characters, because not all black people have to have
That is
the
true.
hood fashion stereotype. I mean, some black people like to dress have the anime type, have more of an anime type fashion in a magical girl or goth sort of way. Sometimes they would do that, or those who like to wear cartoon shirts as well as 2 different shoes. Me, for example.
Alright, any additional thoughts before we get to the last question?
Not for me.
Nah.
No.
So, a big part of why I make this series is because me being a writer, I like for writers to have a place where they can go to when they are trying to write a certain character but don't necessarily have the words to do it or know how to do it exactly. So it goes into this question, which is, what advice would you give to writers watching this video on creating black and brown characters? And which kind of leads to another question, or 2 more rather, which are, what are some struggles you see writers who are not black or brown have when they are writing these types of characters? And do you think people who are not black and brown can write these characters?
For the advice thing, if I could say, I do think that my advice to writers specifically are definitely put more thought. Don't rush your work. I know it's very exciting to create something and want to get it out to as many people as possible, but you gotta really consider how those people would feel. Try not to, create a character that's, meant to represent a certain community and rush them, because if you put thought into every other character and every character holds meaning to you, what's the point of not doing it to that character? Because I feel like passion shows in anything that you create as long as you have passion in the first place. And if you don't have passion for what you're creating and you're creating it more as an obligation for people, then people are going to tell. It's going to be obvious, and it will be clear to people when consuming that media, because that character won't have nearly as much thought put into them as the rest of your characters. You have to at least have a drive, and not just, don't use that character as a token character. Actually instill wanting to put characters like that in your media, rather than just doing it because, I want to, give people something to represent them, or I feel like I have to, or else my series might get canceled or something. Actually want to. That is the biggest thing. Want to add diversity, want to add characters, want to give yourself an open mind and encourage yourself to learn more about things that you don't know, because writing about things that you don't know as well kind of shows your versatility when it comes to writing, how open-minded you are, how good of a writer you really can be, because you just aren't a good writer if you can only write one thing or one community.
Yes, why don't give this speech to the
No matter
UN.
how
That was
good you are.
beautiful.
Thank you.
No problem. Give this speech to SAG-AFTRA. Holy shit.
Well said.
Thank you.
I would say to like when you're writing your characters, ask questions about your characters beyond what do they look like? What do they dress like? What are some catchy words that they use? Go a little deeper than that. I feel like with a lot of characters that we get in these shows, it's they're the rough draft version of the character. This is Keisha, she works hard. People depend on her. Okay, that's a great outline, but Why does Keisha work hard? Why do people depend on her? What are some things she wishes she could depend on other people for? What are her vulnerabilities, her weaknesses? Are there ways that we can work that into the story? Can we work that into her character development? Like, why do you, like the person before was saying, like, do you even care about this character? Did you even want to write them? You know what I mean? Maybe that character doesn't want to be here and you can explore upon that, but like just go a little deeper with like who you're writing about and don't be afraid to like take chances. I did a cartoon series called Orangey and Purple, and the Orangey character was like your more like ghetto fabulous character, and like I would read people's comments about her, and there was one comic where like she's talking about a book that she reads, and someone's like, I'm surprised that Orangey can even read. And I was so offended because it was like, damn, like just because she smacks her lips and like likes to twerk, like it doesn't mean she can't read. And so I found myself
to have these comments. I'm sorry.
I thought myself like, let me show her like, let me show that she's diverse and show her other interests, because I don't want people thinking that like just because she wears big earrings that she can't read. But at the same time, it was like, well, maybe I'm only showing these certain parts of her personality where someone would even begin to fix their lips to say something like that. But let me flesh this person out a little bit more, because I want her to be more than just the things that entertain. And like the black character is not always meant to be like the entertainment.
Felt well said. Ty, any thoughts?
Please give us a personality. Educate yourself. Yeah, like they said, put extra care in what you're writing and what you're more thought into the background of certain backgrounds of your characters and certain plot lines, storylines of what you want this character to go through. Like honestly, seriously, like actually, on the serious note, do extricate yourselves and try not to fall victim to this temptation of having this easy script of having a script of having a character that you can easily write for by just falling into these, specific tropes that writers do for this certain character. Like, you want to make people, you want to have people care about your characters. You want to have people care about whether they succeed or fail or whatever. You don't want your readers or viewers or whatever to be like not care or be angry about what they're watching or reading, or like have your story put them in a bad mood. Don't smoke heroin in the writing room, please.
You can do it anywhere else.
You can do that anywhere else except for the writing room, please God. Umbrella Academy. Anyway,
MissLore does not condone drugs.
Yes, but that's basically it, really. Just keep in thought of who is going to be reading or watching your media. Like keep in mind of your audience, your demographic, who you want to be, who you want this to be viewed by, and write accordingly to how you feel would be appropriate and necessary and thoughtful and accurate to a certain culture that you want to represent in your story.
Okay, that was
so nice. Don't fuck it up.
Nah, don't, please don't. He's a little busy at the moment. I'll read his answer in a bit on his behalf, but real quick, MissLore, do you have any thoughts?
You definitely gotta educate yourself.
Yeah.
And but not at the same time, write what you yourself know, not just of black what people think they know about black people, but what you learn from education, as well as using from people you do know too. You can borrow from that. Yeah, whether it's from your childhood experiences, your own families, and things of that nature, really.
Okay, that's a nice way to put it. Yeah. Okay, so TJ's still not here, so I'm gonna read on his behalf. He says, my advice to writers would be to 1, do their research, and 2, change the mindset to how can I write this character who happens to be black, rather than how can I write this black character.
Hi, sorry, I just got interrupted.
Oh, I summoned him!
You're good.
He just read your thing.
I can't believe I just summoned TJ. Holy shit, it actually worked.
Yeah, that's my advice. The writers should research, not just... If you're writing something historical, do the research on the history. If you're writing something contemporary, ask a black person. Like, it's so simple.
Yeah.
And it's not awkward either, because I know some people are really like, oh, but I don't want to ask a black person because I don't want them to feel like I'm just talking to them just to, just because they're black. Right. But like, I personally, when people ask me things about like, ask me questions, like it's not like they're like, taking advantage of me being black. They're just asking honest questions because they're doing things with a pure intent. They want my input because they view my input as something that matters.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't take offense to it either. I honestly like enjoyed the opportunity to like, educate people or teach them. I like it when people are open to learn something new.
Right. Exactly.
I feel like when people try to dance around it and make it awkward, it's just kind of making it worse for themselves.
Yeah, like just be clear about it. Like, hey, I'm writing a black character and I want
to. Like, I don't want to write this weird ass, like this horrible racist interpretation of a black character, and then they end up doing exactly that.
Because I don't want to ask a black person, so I guess Davon like to play basketball. It's like, no, if there's a specific reason why you needed to like why you specifically need my blackness. If we're like representation, I think a lot of times like black people we'd almost rather be used in that sense than to be like misrepresented. Like, child, I will sit with you and give you all the blackness you need if it means that Keisha is gonna have an interest besides a fucking, I don't know, getting a loan. Please.
All the blackness.
I'm gonna end up making like an entire video of just Bonnie out of context. Like, oh, I'm butterscotch. Wait, what?
As for the struggles, I would just say I guess certain writers are just closed-minded. They write these characters and these storylines from their perspective, how they see it and how they think someone else would see it. That's just the thing. Like, you gotta open your mind some.
Yeah, it's always a generational thing, how they're raised, what they were taught and such, and then just pass it on and pass it on. It's like
exactly.
Back in the day, like it was normal for white people to say like, oh, black people just have smaller brains, because that was like the quote unquote science back then.
Oh my god, have you guys ever watched Django Unchained?
Oh, I still need to watch that movie with you.
I haven't seen it.
There's this scene where Leonardo DiCaprio's character, he plays like a slave owner or whatever, and like he's explaining like, this is the skull of a black man. You see how this part is slightly different here because it holds a smaller brain or whatever. Like, that's what was the word? I forgot what they called it. What was the word? It wasn't eugenics. I forgot what it was. Was it eugenics actually? No, eugenics. I think that's what it was.
It might have been that. I didn't see the movie, but.
But basically,
then, there was this concept of breeding, where of course, if you were a white Anglo-Saxon person, like you're like the top of the breeding chain or whatever the fuck that is.
Yeah, basically, it was saying that certain races or ethnicities, nationalities, whatever, had undesirable traits compared to those who were typically white. Yeah. But yeah, I would just say like these guys need to just do your research and don't write from your perspective, because everybody has a limited view of everything, a limited view of the world. You don't know everything, no matter how much you think you do. It's like, oh, my friend's black. I had a black teacher, right? No.
I had a black bus driver.
Yeah, right.
Any closing thoughts before we end this off? Miss Laura, okay, never mind. Miss Laura already unmuted.
I didn't answer the last one. Do you think people who aren't black... I think people who aren't black can write black or brown characters. Again, like I said, as long as they do the research.
Yeah.
But I don't think there's anything inherently wrong with it, but it can be done very wrong if you're not careful and treat it with sensitivity.
Right.
I never answered that either, but I agree with what he said.
Yeah, because I think essentially, like, I think it's great to see different, perceptions of how people see black people and brown people, and how people can write them in a way that, like, it doesn't have us doing all the work, because we shouldn't have to depend on, because black people write white characters of different ethnicities all the time, and people of let's just think people of color do. Like, people of color, a lot of people of color, some people do, which is fine, but a lot of people don't just write characters that adhere to their own ethnicity. Like, I think it's really cool to see people branch out and explore different ethnicities, because it shows that they learned something. It shows that they're capable of looking past what they're comfortable with and what they grew up with themselves, and really kind of diving into what makes another person rather than themselves. And I don't know, I just think it's really cool to see, especially when it's done so appropriately and done with so much respect. Because honestly though, like, even if it has some flaws in the characters, like, as long as I can tell, like, okay, the author wrote this with, you know, good intentions, they wrote this with, like, they tried their best, and of course it's not perfect, but you can kind of tell, like, it came from a good heart, it came from a place of learning.
They care, they're trying.
Yeah, they care. And I feel like that means a lot more than, you know, just, you know, tossing in a character not caring at all. I think just showing that you cares, it means a lot.
I feel like white people are more than capable of writing black characters, which is what makes it so disappointing when they write them poorly. These are the same people that can tell you what color berry the fucking Sasquatch eats in the summertime in the Amazon jungle and study the behavioral patterns of a goddamn iguana in some rare cave. Like, they're clearly capable of observing things and observing cultures and like and gathering information about them. So it's just like when they write these like poorly written black characters, especially in a show where everyone else is very well written, it just shows the lack of effort. Like, here you go, here's a freaking darkie, be happy, shut up. Like, there they go. Keisha likes basketball and her brother might get shot after school and that's her problem, and you're black, so I'm sure you can understand that. Like, I just don't want to
checking off a checklist.
No, like, I remember watching, like, I was a big Gossip Girl fan, and, like, you know, I don't mind getting immersed in some, like, white teen angst drama knowing I'm not going to see my representation. Like, that's fine. Like, if I know I'm watching a show about white people, I can accept that. What I don't like is, like, the one time there's a black person on the show, at some point someone is being held at gunpoint. For the first time in goddamn Gossip Girl history, now there's a gun involved because Keisha's father is, like, it's just like, come on. Please, please, please. Like... This doesn't have to be this way. Just research the type of person you're writing about like you would for any other character. If they're from Boston, research Boston. If they're black in Boston, look up how black people are in Boston. If they're from the South, like, you know, learn things about Southern black people that will bring this character to life a little bit more. Like, it's not, I feel like black people, we can write white characters because we are required to observe and participate in what is seen as like white norm or like culture or whatever. With white people, it just shows that, like, because it's not required of them to learn about black culture, a lot of them just don't, even though they are like neighbors to black spaces, and that just can make a show feel very tone deaf. For no reason.
Yeah, I feel like one example of that, real quick, would be the fucking Confederacy. What was it? Float in Vampire Diaries, and Bonnie was just the only one in the crowd.
Yeah, Bonnie's just there, like, just like la 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 la, like why would she be there participating in that? There was actually, when they did a Gossip Girl reboot, and I got so much flack for this because there was like this one like black girl in this clique of like a biracial black girl, and like everyone else was pretty much white. And like, so I think her name was I can't remember. It'll come to me later. But she had.
It was called Zoya.
Yeah, I remember Zoya. I can't remember the other girl's name because I used to say it like you need whatever her name was. Now I want to research it. But no. So she had these braids, right? She had the Monet. Her name was Monet. She had these. So she came from this like really prestigious family. Her mom was like super, super like bougie. They were rich. They were wealthy. They had like this poodle, and the poodle had like the classic cut. Like, she just was dripped in wealth. And she's going to St. Constance with like predominantly Upper East Side white kids, and she's hanging in this crew with like all white girls. And then like, but she had these braids, and the braids were like, as the episodes went by, like they were looking like more like older, and they just looked like kind of worn down. Nothing wrong with that look. But I said they should change Monet's hair, because black girls like that hang out with white girls like that typically don't wear urban black styles. They're more likely to have their hair straight or wear extensions. And people were like, that's your stereotyping, you're being racist. I'm like, no, I'm dead ass serious.
Mhm.
Like I know these types of girls that are in these type of crowds, and they just don't. They're not the same girls that are sitting at the African salon getting their hair braided for 6 hours.
Yeah, like,
They're just not doing that.
yeah, like
And it was just like,
sorry, go ahead.
no, I was just saying, like, you know, a little bit of research would have shown that that's just like that's just not how that type of black girl is. If you're gonna make her this type of black girl that, like, you know, talks like this and everything she says sounds like a question, that's typically not the type of black girl that's like going and getting box braids with like Kaneko-on hair, because that's just not typically how that is in that setting. But I don't know. And the main people that were chewing me out were like non-black people. Like, I mean, I feel like she can have whatever hairstyle, blah blah. It's like, well, of course, because you guys don't pay attention to us enough to know like the different types of black girls that there are.
Right.
Yeah. Meanwhile, the white girl that hangs out with the black people is so accurately represented in all these shows.
Right.
BB and
Right.
Euphoria.
So,
Can't wait for season 3.
Same, honestly. That was awesome. Holy shit, this was by far my favorite episode to record. I'm dead serious. Thank you all so much for this.
I love this too. This was
Thank you. I like
very
it.
nice.
Yeah.
I'm glad I didn't
Easily gonna be
freeze.
hitting up you guys in DMs later, just for the shit of it. Please leave a like and subscribe if we taught you something new, and comment on your thoughts. Much love. Mwah.
Thanks for watching.
Bye.
Bye.
And that was it. I really hope you guys enjoyed the video as much as I did. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe if we taught you something new. Special shout out goes out to my friends Emani Mack, Jeremy the JayJugular, and Hightaku, who unfortunately couldn't make it. Another huge shout out goes out to my friend TJ, who helped me come up with these questions. One last shout out goes out to the unlockable characters for providing the cover for the Boondocks opening. I have a link to their channel and the video in the description below. Real quick, I do want to mention that in the pinned comment below, there will be a link to donate to the NAACP. It's an organization that helps fight for civil rights in the United States. I also included another donation link in the South Asian representation video if you want to go check that out. Please do not feel pressured to donate if you are unable to. But I do think that in these trying times, it's good to help out your fellow man. Again, you don't have to if you're not financially able to. Now, for my next video, I'll be putting a certain mega corporation's mascot on trial. Can you guess who it is?
Dang.
That's you, Jeremy.
Yeah, Jeremy. Wish you were here. Yeah, whatever.